Welcome back to Man Down Sports. We're going to do this a little bit different than what I normally do. This won't be a quick 15, 20-minute conversation on one topic. I want to address multiple things. So this is going to be a little bit different, more like a full episode. I usually don't do this alone. I usually had a full panel when I go through this, but I'm going to do it this time. So um, hopefully we can get through these topics real nice. Y'all that is not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, for sure. And then we go get into some of these things, man. So I was looking at mostly the NBA, what's going on, and it's a lot of things. There's a lot of storylines going on. You got Jokic and Embiid's MVP race. It seemed like a two-man race. Maybe you can add Giannis in there as well. I want to tackle that. Then like the trends is going on in the NBA as far as like you got a 9-10 game win streak right now for Philadelphia. They just moved to number 2 in the East. They might be able to catch Milwaukee at number 1, depending on how well Milwaukee played down the stretch. Then you got 11 straight losses on the road for the Golden State Warriors. They look like a dumpster fire. The Kings are streaking. I think they're 8 of their last 10. They trying to move up. Well, they probably won't catch Denver. Denver's the last 6 games they lost 5. They lost 4. No, they lost 5 of their last 7, right? And it should have been more than that because it was a Toronto game they had before their losing streak started. They should have lost that Toronto game. So they played Toronto in Denver. Toronto outplayed them when it came to the fourth quarter. Some questionable calls went Denver's way. Denver was able to pull it out. And then they went on a 4-game losing streak, and then they finally beat Detroit. And then they lost again last night or night before last. So, so they're not looking too hot. So they might not. I mean, it's possible. It's 12 games left. It's possible they lose that number 1 seed to Sacramento. It's going to be tough. Sacramento got to really do some work, and Denver got to really be doing the opposite of that. But Philly could catch that number 1 spot. Denver could lose it in the West. The Warriors could mess around and not even be in the play-in. They'll probably still be in the play-in, but it's so tight out there in the West when you get past number 6. Everything is close from 6 to like 12. And then what else is going on out East? Denver's losing streak, Warriors losing streak, win streak for the Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers, all of that stuff. We're going to talk about all of that. But first, I want to get into this little rant that Colin Cowherd went on his podcast. And it's kind of hard to even what's up, Dino? It's kind of hard to even buy into. Man, it's kind of hard to talk about because he's a clickbait type guy. He's a shock jock. He says stuff for shock value. He says some idiotic things, man. He's good at what he does if you're his producer. And if ratings is what you want and clicks is what you want, I guess he's good from that standpoint. He's going to bring attention. And even when you don't want to give him any attention, like the stuff he says is so retarded and so dumb, like what he just said about Michael Jordan. I'm going to play for you what he said. It was idiotic. I'm going to respond to what he said. It's about 3 minutes long, so I'm going to play it. And then I'm going to play it again and pause it just so I can make sure I hit every point. But if you didn't hear what Colin had to say in regards to Michael Jordan selling the Hornets or in talks with someone about selling the Hornets, this is what he had to say.
But lost in all of this, in the highlight culture, you never see Michael's misses. It should be noted, he didn't win squat before Scottie Pippen. He just scored a lot and alienated teammates. He failed in baseball. He failed badly with the Wizards. He failed with the Hornets. Michael Jordan, take away David Stern, Phil Knight, and Phil Jackson, is a really, really talented basketball player that probably ends up averaging more points without the titles. Great players often make terrible coaches. and terrible executives. And we now know bad owners. Because what made Michael Jordan great was words like relentless and confrontational and demanding and impatient. And what makes Phil Jackson a great coach is understanding, flexibility, zen, mentoring, elevating others, patient. MJ, he's still trying to settle scores. Still giving access for the documentary after LeBron won a title in Cleveland, and many of us subscribed to the theory that now the greatest of all time was LeBron James. Michael is still incredibly motivated to elevate Michael's net worth, his brand, his shoe apparel, wildly competitive. But the best owners and the best coaches and the best executives are about elevating others. Michael is great at elevating Michael. Even his friends, they're valet guys, golf buddies, third-tier players. Michael takes care of them. They create a shield for Michael. For all the mythology, and he's as good a basketball player as I've ever seen, he failed at baseball. He failed at owning a team. He was bad with the Wizards. And all he did was score points and alienate people when he got to Chicago. Even Michael needed leadership. Stern, Phil Knight, Phil Jackson, and for the record, not a lot of playoff wins without Scottie Pippen.
All right, so I'm going to pause it there. All right, and the last thing he just said, I mean, he said a couple of things I want to point out. One, he wasn't great at elevating people. He was only great at elevating himself, right? Then he was saying that, without the leadership of David Stern, and I guess he's trying to say that David Stern changed the rules to better promote and market Michael Jordan for the NBA. And I guess he's saying without David Stern, there's no Michael, and without Phil Jackson, there's no Michael. And then also saying that he never won anything without Scottie Pippen. And all those things give me headache because people actually believe that, right? Let's go to the part about he never won anything without Scottie Pippen. I think Michael Jordan got drafted, and the next year, I think he played his rookie season, and the next year, I think Scottie Pippen came in. If it wasn't the next year, it was the third year. So and a lot of people use this argument for Kyrie Irving. You've done nothing without LeBron. Before LeBron got there, you didn't do anything with Cleveland, right? And you have to. It don't matter what player you are. If you get drafted number 1, number 2, or number 3, like Scottie Pippen, I mean not Scottie Pippen, but like Michael Jordan did, get drafted number 3, Sam Boyd, Olajuwon, Jordan, number 3. And Kyrie Irving's case, he got drafted number 1. You're getting drafted to a bad team. And it is your job to turn that franchise, not just the team, but the franchise around, right? Especially if the franchise never won anything, like Chicago never won anything, and like Cleveland never won anything. So it's a lot on your shoulders as a rookie. Change the franchise, turn the team around, and let us build around you. That takes time, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4, sometimes 5 years to build something around you. We got to find the right co-star. And then once we find your co-star, we have to find the right pieces to go around you and your co-star. We have to find the right coach, and the front office got to be decent as well, right? All these things got to happen. And then on top of all that, the players and the teams that was on top when you came in Michael Jordan's case, Boston, LA, Detroit, they were on top. Even Milwaukee were on top at that time, right? Sometimes you got to wait your turn, right? You can't come in as a rookie and just dethrone the guys that was at the top. As a process. And in Kyrie Irving's case, he comes in, whoever was on the top at that time, I think maybe been San Antonio, the Kobe and the Lakers was like going down. So it was like maybe San Antonio, Miami. So San Antonio, Miami with the big 3, they were on top. You don't expect a rookie to come in and show that he can play and at the same time just climb the mountain, get to the top, dethrone everybody, and start winning. So this is very disingenuous when you say Jordan never won without Pippen when he only played 1, maybe 2 years without Pippen. I want to say 1 year. He only played 1 year without Pippen. never won anything without Pippen. So I played 1 year without him before he got there, and then I played my entire career with him until we all retired in 98, 99. Right. And then I came back and played 2 years for the Wizards. So I got 3 years, one as a rookie and two as a 39 and a 40-year-old. And then you take that and say he never won anything without Pippen. Anytime you hear someone using that type of logic and that type of argument, don't even engage in that conversation. That's just dumb. But he can get away with that because it's some people that want to believe that means something. You didn't win anything without Pippen. Well, what is Scottie Pippen? Scottie Pippen is a co-star. He's a number 2. He's an all-star level, Hall of Fame level type player, right? Every player that has won has had someone like Scottie Pippen. You're going to need that. No matter how good you are, there's only been very small amount of superstars that were able to win without having a Scottie Pippen in his prime, right? And I think Dirk is one of them. He won. And Jason Kidd was his Scottie Pippen, but Jason Kidd was past his prime. So he was able to do that with over the hill Jason Kidd, and he won one. Elijah Wan was able to win one without a Scottie Pippen because I think his number 2 was like Vernon Maxwell, and he's no Hall of Famer. He's no All-Star, right? So he won his first one with Vernon Maxwell being his second best player and some rookies, Robert Ory and Sam Cassell. Right, he got Drexler the next year and won it the second time, but so Drexler was his Scottie Pippen the second time, but he won one. Dirk won one. I can't really think of anybody else who won one without a Scottie Pippen level player. LeBron James has had 2 Scottie Pippen level players on one team twice, or maybe 3 times. He's had Wade and Bosh with the Miami Heat. He's had Kyrie and Love with Cleveland, and he's had AD and I say just AD. I'm not even going to add Dwight in there or anybody else that was on that squad. Let's just say AD. So he's always had a Scottie Pippen on his team, and sometimes he's had 2 Scottie Pippens on his team. So let's just not act like Michael Jordan just had to have Scottie. He could have had someone that was on that level as well. Like it's not even a good argument. It's dumb. But all of this is geared toward him wanting to big up LeBron. This is LeBron rant. He hasn't got to the LeBron yet, but he's going to get to it. But this is a LeBron rant. I have to bring MJ down to bring LeBron up. And the interesting thing you're going to see is another thing that they do. They're going to tell you that Colin Cowherd said that Michael Jordan only elevates himself and he don't elevate teammates. But then he turns around and everyone around MJ gets elevated. He overhypes and inflates Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, David Stern, like all these people around MJ is up here. And then when he started describing LeBron, everybody around LeBron, he brings them down. So it's kind of hard to make the argument that MJ don't elevate nobody, but you only speak in high regard to anybody that was around him. And then you say LeBron elevates everyone, but then you speak in low regard to everyone involved in LeBron. So how is that possible?
Everybody needs an assist. Everybody can't live on an island. Even the great Michael Jordan, who's done a poor job of owning and running and drafting the Hornets. Because what made him great as a player has made him a bit of a disaster with Charlotte. Selfish, impatient, too demanding, not understanding that not everybody has a 44-inch vertical, big hands, and an unrelenting drive.
So let's speak on his horrible drafting of the Hornets or the Bobcats. He got the team from Bob Johnson. And I want to say one of the worst picks that he had maybe was Adam Morrison when he picked Adam Morrison in the lottery. But you got to look at that lottery. You got to look at that draft in general. It wasn't a lot of talent in there. So he drafted Adam Morrison. That was a miss. He drafted Cody Zeller in the first round. I think that was a miss. Other than that, he got something right. Oh well, when you say Kid Gilchrist, he drafted Kid Gilchrist, but that was a draft that it was either AD or bust. So if you didn't get the first pick, New Orleans got the first pick. If you didn't get the first pick and you didn't get AD, it wasn't really much out there. All right, so he ended up with Kid Gilchrist. So that's three guys: Kid Gilchrist, Adam Morris, and Cody Zeller. I would have went somewhere different with that for the draft. But drafting Kemba Walker, drafting LaMelo Ball, drafting Miles Bridges, drafting Malik Monk, drafting PJ Washington. Those are five guys that are good draft picks, right? But the Adam Morrison is all, and the Kid Gilchrist is always going to go down as stains on his early years. And then of course with the Wizards, Kwame Brown, number one. But like who else was in that draft? Like it wasn't every year. You don't have prospects that's going to be franchise changing. And if you do have those prospects, if you don't have the high pick to get them, what are you going to do? So everybody has mishaps with their draft. I mean, we had Joe Dumars pass up Carmelo Anthony for Darko Milicic. We had and for the most part, MJ hasn't even been drafting for a while because Mitch Kupchak has been the GM there for years, and people are still saying this is the MJ team and MJ put this team together. No, Mitch Kupchak is doing this, right? So that's one thing. But
love Michael to this day, but LeBron, that's where these two aren't remotely close. LeBron, everybody that plays with him, everybody is better.
That's false. That's false. You stupid. That's false. Everybody that plays with him is better. That's false. That's been debunked so many times. It's not even funny. We're not even gonna go in history. We just go with right now, Russell Westbrook. Just right now, the last 2-3 years, Russell Westbrook. That's false. I mean, it's a flat out lie. Right? You can't even say that. Like, come on, Russell Westbrook right now, Anthony Davis right now, right? Anthony Davis went from leaving New Orleans and being compared to Tim Duncan, and being, some people even saying he's better than Tim Duncan and Garnett. They just bypassed Karl Malone, Garnett, Dirk. They just bypassed all them dudes and just went straight to Tim Duncan and was like, "Oh, AD is might be better than Tim Duncan." And that's where he was at in New Orleans. He shows up to LA. They get a bubble ring. They elevate him to a top 3 player in the league, based on what he did in the bubble. And then the last 2-3 years has been what? Scapegoat, not so good, trash, all that stuff. We can't say there's no one on this Lakers team that's been elevated. It's been quite the opposite. Media members that support LeBron James, usually what happens if you don't win, it's your fault. Because this myth out there that everyone believes that as soon as you play with LeBron, you're just better, or LeBron has never played with a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, it's just ridiculous for you to say he's never played with a Hall of Fame coach, but Ty Lue was a first-time coach with him. Mike Brown was a first, and you see what Mike Brown is doing with Sacramento right now. Mike Brown was a first-time coach with him. David Black, first time in the NBA coach with him, and Eric Spoelstra. So all those 4 guys, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame, right? But we took the reputation of Phil Jackson after he won 6 with Mike and 3 with Shaq and Kobe, and then 2 with Kobe and Gasol, right? So after he won, it was at 6, 9, 11. After he won 11 and made Hall of Fame, now we go back and be like, oh, Michael Jordan had a Hall of Fame coach, but Phil Jackson was a first-year coach with Michael Jordan. So if Colin Cowherd or people like that want to say Michael Jordan is nothing without Phil, I would love to know what Phil would be without Mike. I would love to know what Scottie Pippen would be without Mike. I would love to know what David Stern would be without Mike. Like the notion that Mike was created as a mythology type character because of Phil was so great. Like seriously, the reason why Phil is that great is because Mike played for him. and Scotty played for him. It's a reason why he's not still coaching now. I mean, it's the same thing with Pop. As good as Greg Popovich is, retiring Tim Duncan and then Kawhi asking for a trade pretty much ended his wins. Like he hasn't had a contender since then. Kawhi left, there was no more contending. And having LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan is not a bad 1-2 punch to have. But you're not even contending. You know, you had to let them go. So, I mean, coaches is, you know, you got to look at a coach for what it is. Like, they need talent, right? They need that. But you know, you can't take away someone's greatness by saying that their coach was good or their number 2 was good. I think that's real dumb.
He even worked with an old crazy J.R. Smith. He made Kyrie work.
He worked with an old crazy J.R. Smith. So remember I said that everyone around, although he's saying that LeBron elevates everyone, in order for LeBron to seem like he elevated them, you have to bring them down so low, right? He just said he worked with old crazy J.R. Smith. They said D Wade was old in Miami as well. So I mean, old to them is I don't know. He said he worked with an old crazy J.R. Smith, old and crazy J.R. Smith. It's funny because J.R. Smith was younger and less crazier than Dennis Rodman. Just think about that. He said J.R. Smith was old and crazy. Dennis Rodman is crazier and was older when he won with Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman was in his prime in Detroit when he faced Jordan with the Bad Boy Pistons. Imagine that. Imagine that Dennis Rodman was on the Detroit Pistons team, that once Michael Jordan beat them, they said that the Pistons was old and wore out, and that's why Michael Jordan beat them. That same old and wore out team had a Dennis Rodman that left, went to 2 different teams, San Antonio and somewhere else, and then came to the Bulls. Played there at 36, 37, and 38. 36, 37, and 38. That's old. And we already know he's hella crazy. So you're going to give LeBron the utmost credit of working with J.R. Smith because he's old and crazy, but he's younger than the 37, 38, 39-year-old Dennis Rodman that Jordan got, and less crazier. Let that sink in. Right? But let's debunk the fact that he was old and crazy. I don't think he was old. He was still jumping out of the gym, dunking, and was a 3-point shooter. The only thing that was unique about J.R. Smith's tenure with LeBron is that he had way more ability than what he was able to show with Cleveland. When he was with Carmelo in Denver, and he got the nickname J.R. Swish, and he was handling the ball, he was instant offense off the bench for George Karl in Denver. 6 Man of the Year awards, you know, he was just killing it. Then he left and went to New York with Carmelo, same thing. And then when New York fell apart, LeBron grabbed him, brought him to Cleveland, and turned him into Ray Allen, and that's all he got was 3-point shots. Never handled the rock as much, you know what I mean? Didn't do all that. But he's old and crazy.
Kyrie hasn't worked with anybody. He couldn't work in Boston, didn't do squat at Duke, was a disaster in Cleveland. Brooklyn was a tire fire. How's it working in Dallas? LeBron worked with Kyrie.
Kyrie worked with nobody but LeBron. So give LeBron credit for how good Kyrie is as well. At work, they got a ring. They went to 2 straight finals and they got a ring. All right, so it worked. He said it was a dumpster fire in Brooklyn, which it was. All right, I give you that. He said it didn't work in Boston. There was nothing wrong in Boston. He showed up in Boston the same year that Gordon Hayward showed up, and they had the best record in the league. And then Kyrie Irving had to have knee surgery. This was after they lost Gordon Hayward the first game of the season. Gordon Hayward severely broke his leg, and they lost him, so he didn't have his number 2. And they still ended up with the best record in the league, playing with a second-year Jaylen Brown and a rookie Jason Tatum, and just Kyrie and Al Horford. Best record in the league. Kyrie went down, had to have surgery, out for the season. Boston ended up overperforming rookie Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart all outperformed what expectations was. And then the next year they come back and here's Gordon Hayward coming off on their one leg, still not 100% ready, but he's thrown in the starting lineup and you take Tatum and Brown and you cut their minutes in half. That's what happened in Boston. That had nothing to do with Kyrie Irving. Had nothing to do with Kyrie Irving. Boston was fine. Cleveland was fine. He was a rookie. LeBron showed up in Kyrie's third year, and he was already an all-star before LeBron got there. Imagine that. Kyrie made all-star his second year in the league. Steph Curry didn't make all-star till probably his fourth or fifth season. Kyrie was an all-star his second year in the league. Steph Curry wasn't an all-star until his fourth or fifth season. Think about it. So LeBron shows up. This kid is already ready. LeBron shows up when players are already ready. I take J.R. Smith. He's ready. I take Kevin Love. He showed that he's an all-star. I join Wade and Bosh. They've shown that they're all-star. Ray Allen, come over here. Rashard Lewis, come over here. Mike Miller, come over here. Like I'm handpicking guys that I know is already ready to form my team. That ain't nothing different than what KD did. So this whole notion that let's compare and contrast Michael Jordan and he's selfish and he's this and that, and then LeBron just elevates everybody and LeBron and Jordan brings everybody down. That's what you're doing. You're bringing everybody down that's around LeBron. You bring them down to make him look better.
You can compare these two all you want. They're different people. They have different games. But LeBron's personality has become his game. And Michael's personality has become his brand. This thing was destined to fail.
Yeah, so that's that idiotic statement. And I honestly, I don't think he really thinks this. He just knows what gets clicks. You know, he's a professional at this. He don't really believe this. It's not possible. Like, it's not possible, right? Like you got to be smart enough to know what you're doing. Let me take every player that's played with LeBron and reduce them so low that it actually makes people think that LeBron is great because he was playing with just this low level of talent. And then you do the opposite for Michael Jordan. You boost up everybody he played against. Like, some people got fans thinking that Steve Kerr was on Steph Curry's level because Steve Kerr was a good 3-point shooter. You bring his name up and be like, Michael Jordan played with one of the greatest shooters that ever played, not knowing that Steve Kerr barely got in the game. Like, seriously, like their starting point guard was Ron Harper. Like, there was all about defense on that team, right? They had a 6'6" point guard in Ron Harper, a 6'6" Michael Jordan at the 2, a 6'7" Scottie Pippen at the 3, a 6'8" power forward in Rodman, and then Luke Longley at 7 foot to protect the rim and post up. And all 5 of them was good. Well, Luke was a good defender, but Jordan, Pippen, and Ron Harper were all great defenders. The only difference with Ron Harper is that Michael Jordan may have been considered a better defender because Ron Harper had so many knee surgeries and he lost a little bit of his mobility. But he would get down there and guard small point guards and big point guards and whatnot. You know, that was a wonderful lineup of nobody being under 6'6". Perfect lineup defensively, right? So people think Steve Kerr was just out there just doing the Steph Curry all day long. No, that's not what Steve Kerr was. Steve Kerr was not that. He was pretty much what Craig Hodges was, a great 3-point shooter, not so much of a great basketball player. So we got to put you in where you get in a situation where you can just catch and shoot threes. You don't have to defend that much. But if they needed defense, Steve Kerr can get in the game. Right. So, I mean, and then they came off the bench with Randy Brown, who was a really athletic. Randy Brown reminds me a lot of Bruce Brown now. He was about 6'4", but he played bigger than what he was. He had some hops. He could dunk. You know what I mean? He was quick, fast. He played defense. Randy Brown was a good little backup. I like Randy Brown. But they would come off the bench with Randy Brown before they came off the bench with Steve Kerr. But people, when you tell people that didn't watch it back then, oh man, he had the greatest shooter, Steve Kerr. What? So they boost Steve Kerr up to this greatness. They say Rodman was just which Rodman was great, but remember he was 36, 37, and 30, or 37, 38, 39 doing that three-peat. He was old. He had a knee issue. He was in the brace one whole year. He missed about 50 games one year. Like, people don't remember all that stuff. They just act like everybody was great. Scottie Pippen's body was breaking down. That foot surgery he had the last year, the three-peat, that was just the tip of the iceberg. He was having back spasms off and on. He wasn't practicing that often. So he missed about 50 games in 98, came back locked up on him in the finals. Like, don't let people tell y'all that the circumstances around Michael Jordan was perfect. He had the perfect Batman. He had the perfect team built around him. He had perfect shooters, perfect coach. And then tell LeBron fans that everybody that was around LeBron was trash. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. Let me get to some of these comments. Mike said, I think Colin direct quote is true. It depends on which quote you're talking about. He said a lot, but also that can be said about everybody great. It's never one guy without anything else. But he's saying that thing is one guy for LeBron though. He's saying that all this stuff works in the favor of Michael Jordan, but LeBron had to elevate everybody. That's what he's saying, right? So that's the discrepancy. I think all GMs are going to draft someone who doesn't perform how they anticipated it at least a few times. Of course, some lessons they have to learn. Warriors are struggling. Yeah, we're gonna get to the Warriors. We go cook on the Warriors, man. Because I talked about the Warriors a while back. And Draymond Green, I definitely talked about how I think he's becoming the issue, how his mouth is becoming the issue. I was talking about this in the playoffs when he was having personal beefs and vendettas with I want to say it was Maxwell from the Boston Celtics, a legend that does radio. And he's coming at him, telling him like, you'll get beat up. You probably was getting beat up and all that, just crazy stuff, man. Because all he said is like, man, Draymond, he wouldn't have got away with what he got away with last night in our era. And you was getting beat up in your era. You wasn't a tough guy, blah blah. He just going off like seriously. So I was like, man, like I get to it, man. But think how good you have to be to get drafted number one, but you only play 11 games. He was that good before LeBron. That's true. He was that good. Man. He played 11 games for Duke and went number one. That's a good point, man. But yeah, the motivation for Colin Cowherd and anybody else who do a hit piece like this on Michael Jordan is always going to be LeBron. As soon as they start talking and they're doing a hit piece on Mike, wait toward the end when they switch it to LeBron. It happens all the time. All right, man. So let's talk about Joel Embiid now. Vegas and ESPN and Bleacher Report. Now they're finally, for the first time this year, they finally have moved him into that number one slot for MVP favorite. He just passed Jokic. For me, he was already past Jokic because I have a criteria that requires that you play defense and off. It requires that you play both ends of the floor, right? And Jokic don't do that. And Luka don't do it as well. So I didn't buy into the preseason favorite of Luka being the MVP as well. The MVP has turned into whoever can get as close as the stat and stuff in the stat sheet as possible is the MVP. So there's no criteria. Every voter has their own criteria that they're using, right? And when you hear them try to lay out a criteria, is usually trash. But when they describe Jokic, the only thing they can say is triple double, and his team is number one in the West. And they were undefeated up until last week. They were undefeated when he gets a triple double. That's it. Triple double, undefeated when he gets a triple double, and number one in the West, right? But he didn't have those three things last year. Last year, he wasn't averaging a triple double. They were not number one in the West. They were number 6 in the West. And they were not undefeated when he did whatever, triple double. So those three things didn't exist. So what was the criteria last year? It was a different criteria. The criteria was he didn't have his number 2. He didn't have Jamal Murray. So it's okay. I mean, he had a good stat line. And the stat line he had last year was better than the stat line he had when he won his first MVP the year before last. So that was the storyline. So he won an MVP, rightfully so, his first one. Then his second one, the team was trash because I think Denver was like number 1 the year he won MVP. So they took in winning and team success. They took that into account to give him the MVP. Last year, Joel Embiid outperformed Jokic. And his team was in a better position than Jokic, but they said that since Jokic didn't have his number 2, it was okay for you to be a 6 seed and win MVP because your numbers was better than what you had last year when you won it. So that was the criteria last year. Now the criteria is different. Now it's team success and triple doubles. So if you're gonna move the goalposts every single time just to vote for who you want to vote for, you might as well just not have a award, right? But if you really want to fix it and do right by your players, have a criteria. And I really do think you need to come up with another separate award for Offensive Player of the Year. Because if we're going to make the MVP just about the offensive end and offensive stats, then stats don't always mean value. You can be more valuable than a stat pattern or a stat king. Give Offensive Player of the Year to the stat king. I think Luka and Jokic can battle it out for Offensive Player of the Year right now, all they want. Embiid will be in that conversation as well, averaging 34 points a game, right? So averaging 34 and being number 2 in the East. Luka averaging 33 and being number 8 in the West. And Jokic averaging 24 in a triple-double and being number 1 in the West. Okay, those 3 guys, you can battle it out for Offensive Player of the Year, but for MVP, let's come up with a criteria that is more than just stats. And I've already laid that criteria down. I got a link I'm gonna leave in the description so y'all can watch that video. But let's just talk about Embiid right now. So Joel Embiid averaging 34 points a game. His last 10 games, they're on a 10-game win streak. His last 10 games, he's been over 30. He's got more 40-point games than anybody this season. He's averaging 12 rebounds. He's number 6 in blocks. He's a great defender just from observation. You don't have to go to his ranking and his blocks. You can look at observation and see that he's switching screens and staying in front of people, blocking shots at key times, chase down blocks, protecting the rim, guarding the screen and roll. I mean, he's doing a lot, you know. And then on offense, he's hitting game winners, man. Like he's proven that he's the MVP this year. I thought he proved it last year, but he's doing an even better job this year, right? So he's now in the number 1 spot. Jokic is on a different trajectory right now. They lost 4 in a row, then they won 1, and they lost again. So the last 6 games, they lost 5. They lost 5 of their last 6, right? For their last 10, they're 5-5, right? They're going down. They got that number 1 spot right now. But what's going to happen if Denver loses that number 1 spot and Sacramento takes the number 1 spot? And then you got Philadelphia. They're 1 game behind Milwaukee for number 1. They're at number 2. What if Philadelphia moves to number 1, Denver falls to number 2 in the West, and then you have all of this circumstances with what Joel is doing? What would be the argument for Jokic? Other than triple, like seriously, other than triple double, what's the argument? Right? Because he's literally playing no defense. And the funny thing about the Kings being number 2, they got 2 all-stars on their team, Fox and Sabonis, right? Fox almost didn't make it. I think he was a substitute, but Sabonis did. And if you like triple doubles, Sabonis is averaging 20, 12, and 7. Not quite a triple double. He's 3 assists shy of a triple double, right? But he's doing the same exact thing Jokic is doing, except he's playing defense. And he's not top 4, top 5 in turnovers. Like Jokic is top. I think he's top 3 in turnovers this season. He had 6 turnovers last night in the loss. Right. I mean, you can go down there and see the 6, the 5, the 7 game turnovers in the first round when they lost 4-1 to Golden State. Jokic had a 7 turnover game, a 6 turnover game, a 5 turnover game, and then he had 2 games with 3 turnovers. Like he had 3 turnovers at least every single game, including the 5, the 6, and the 7 game turnover. He was a minus 19 in one game in plus minus. He was a minus 20 in one game. The only game that they won, he was still a minus 2 in that game. His teammates was all pluses. Like you win and you're a minus. Like that's really hard to do, to be in a negative in the plus minus zone when your team wins. That means that when you was going to the bench, your team was actually doing better. And why is that? Because his defense is that bad. So when your defense is that bad and you're a liability, how can you ever get the MVP over a guy who's valuable on offense and defense? That's my thing. Well deserved for Embiid. Yeah, I agree 100%. James Harden has finally transformed into a point guard, and they're playing good ball together. That's a good point. So James Harden is leading the league in assists this year. So you got an MVP candidate who's scoring, and that's how you're supposed to do it. You have a center that is dominating the paint on both ends of the floor. He's hitting his threes every now and then too, and his jump shots, because he got that skill. But Embiid also has the skill to handle the ball. If Embiid wanted the average, because he's averaging, I want to say 5 or 6 assists. If Embiid wanted to average 10 assists in a triple-double, he could do that. But guess who assists is going to suffer from that? Guess who's not going to be leading the league in assists? James Harden won't be, because Embiid will be taking more point guard duties away from James Harden just for his own benefit. I mean, if James Harden can get the assist, why do I need Embiid to get it? Right? If you're going to be my best scorer, I want you to finish the plays. I want my point guard to set them up. I don't care if you have a capability of handling the ball and passing. Embiid has the capability as well. There's a lot of big men who are capable of handling the ball and passing, but they don't do it because they don't have to. Right? So I can see right through a player that's doing something they don't have to do. Like he's running point when he's got an all-star level point guard in Jamal Murray. That's what Jokic is doing. He don't have to do that, but he's doing it because he's averaging triple-double by doing it. Right? Don't reward that. The same thing Westbrook was doing. He was chasing down rebounds he didn't have to chase down. Like, you know, basketball 101, this is the oldest play in the book is opportunity for early offense. You play good enough defense, you get the rebound. The big man is getting the rebound. And what textbook play is an outlet pass to your point guard who's going to push the break. Why is it important that your point guard push the break? It's because your point guard is usually the player who's probably going to be the fastest. And he's also going to be fast with the ball. And while running full speed with the ball, if he has to change direction because the defense does something, he's got the ball handling skills to change directions without running into him and charging or double dribbling or traveling or just knee-jerk reaction, throwing it and it be a bad pass and a turnover. That's why you want your point guard whose experience has been a point guard, who has the body and the speed to be a point guard, push the break. Because when your big man outlet passes that to his point guard, now your big man is in a dead sprint from the defensive end all the way to the rim on the offensive end and try to get an early basket by finding someone. Because if your big man is in a dead sprint and he beats the other big man down there, you might catch a small guy on your back and have a mouse on the house right in front of the rim. Catch it, early offense, right? And if you don't get that, and then the offense can start running at half court through the point guard, right? Well, you lose that opportunity when your big man is the one who's pushing the ball, especially when your big man is the slowest one on the team. And then he usually gets slower when they're dribbling. Like point guards that's fast period is also fast with the ball. It's not a major drop off when they have the ball and they're handling it. Big men, they need to be running in dead sprint without the ball, but when they get the ball, they slow down. So now it's the same thing with Luka. Luka was 6'8" guy that's slow, unathletic, not that fast. Dallas, before Kyrie Irving showed up, had the slowest pace in the NBA, and they had the least amount of fast break points because they're operating at the pace of the slowest guy on the court that's pushing the ball. What's the point? I want Jokic in the dead sprint to the rim while my point guard is pushing the ball. And that's what Embiid has allowed James Harden to be able to do. They both can star in their own roles. My role is to be unstoppable scorer. Your role is to get everyone involved, including me sometimes. Even though I can get my own offense, it'd be nice that you can set me up too. But the other three guys need to be set up, right? And then it's nice when your point guard can pass and set everybody up and take care of the ball. And then whenever your star player can't get high percentage shot, your point guard can go and get it. It's perfectly done in Phoenix by Chris Paul. He's doing it perfectly. Chris Paul can go out there and average 20 if he wants to. He can score. But he's concerned about being a point guard while Devin Booker start as the lead scorer. But every now and then, if Chris Paul really needed to in the fourth quarter or in crucial points of the game, boom, he'll go get that mid-range. Or he'll get to the free throw line, get fouled, or he'll get to the rim, or he'll run that break and look for his own shot. Like that's what point guard is supposed to do. Is an art to it. I'm trying to get my leading scorer to get the points. I'm gonna get everybody else involved. I know when to go to him or when to go to him. I know who's hot. I know who got a mismatch. That's what point guards are doing on the floor, right? And taking care of the ball and then calling their own number when it's necessary. They're not allowing Jamal Murray to do that in Denver because they're trying to get this triple double for Jokic, and it's going to cost them in the long run because now you got your lead scorer also being your distributor, and you're not letting Jamal Murray star in that role. If Jamal Murray can't star in the role of scorer and be like Dame Lillard and be the scorer, then at least let him star in the James Harden role and be the distributor, or the Chris Paul role and be the distributor. You're sending the message that I want Jokic to be the primary scorer and the primary distributor. That's crazy. Yeah, you missed the Cowherd stuff. The more you had the ball in your hand, the more turnover average increases. Yeah, especially it depends on who you are, because you can go down the turnover list right now. You're not gonna find Tyrese Halliburton on there leading the turnover. You're not gonna find CP3 that much, right? Only people who probably shouldn't be handling the ball is the one who's leading in those turnovers, right? You're not go. I don't even think Kyrie is that high, right? So, yeah, just because you got the ball a lot don't mean you have to have turnovers. Like some people have good assist to turnover ratios. CP3 is one of them, and definitely Tyrese Halliburton is one of them as well. He's starting to agree with me on Jokic. I can't even see your name. Go to YouTube so I can see who this is. But yeah, you don't have no choice but to agree with me on Jokic, man. Like he's out of order. I mean, it's like if put it this way. Let's put it in terms of a spouse, or marriage, right? Yeah, it's fine that we all can do everything. Like, yeah, my wife probably can go out there and wash the car, maybe even change the tire, maybe change the oil. But why the hell would I let her do that? Like, why? If I'm here, why is it necessary for her to do that? And imagine if you came home and all the duties and the roles that make a man valuable to the household. Imagine if your wife said, I'm gonna do all of it. Like, how does that make you feel? Right. So if I'm a point guard, There's no way. If you go back to the 90s and you see how they operated, man, there's two things that they didn't like. They didn't like players overstepping their boundary. I heard Charles Barkley tell the story where he went to halftime in one game, and Ben and this when he was with Phoenix, Ben the leading scorer on that team and the go-to guy. I want to say the last 3 or 4 trips down the court before they went to halftime, they didn't get a bucket. And Charles Barkley didn't touch the ball for 4 straight trips before halftime. He said he went in the halftime, and I don't know if he fought people, but it was a altercation. He was that hot. He was like, from now on, the ball does not come down here, and no one gets a shot before I touch it. That's one attitude that people had as the leading scorer, right? That's cool, right? Another attitude they had as a big man, like, I make money by playing defense, rebounding, and pushing people around. So when I go to the negotiating table and I tell someone what my value is and what my worth, I want to be able to show them the rebounds I get. So you will be hard pressed to find a big man that get paid to rebound, allowing a point guard to come down here and track and get rebounds that you're supposed to be getting, right? So the Westbrook thing should have never happened. Steven Adams should have never been moving out of the way to let Westbrook get rebounds to help him out with his triple-double average. And same thing with Jokic in Denver. A point guard should have so much pride in being a point guard that how in the hell you gonna tell me that my biggest guy on the team, my 6'11", 285-pound slow center, is taking point guard opportunities away from me just for his assists? No, I should have those assists. Jamal Murray is averaging almost 7 assists this season. He easily could be averaging a double-double. He could be averaging 20 and 10 with points and assists, and Jokic could be averaging 20 and 10 with points and rebounds. But Jokic want to do all of it. That's bad basketball. I want to spread it. I want to spread those duties out amongst more than one person. I don't want to consolidate it into one person. Oh, what's up, Raheem? Okay, yeah. So tell me, what's changing your mind on the Jokic thing? Tell me that real quick. I love to know. Let's move to the Warriors though. All right, because I really wanted to get in on this one, man. So I did a live probably about, it was during the finals, right? Like I kind of alluded to it earlier when Draymond Green had so much to say with his podcast. You know, he was really talking and giving other teams bulletin board material, and you know, he was going at so many players, and I'm talking about retired players, current players. Like, he was just going at them, right? And I thought it was tacky, and I coined the phrase that Draymond Green is writing checks that he can't cash, that Steph is going to have to cash for him. And luckily for Draymond, Steph did cash those checks. It would have looked real bad if the Warriors would have lost to Boston in that finals, because the things that Draymond was doing and saying was cringe-worthy. It was an eyesore. It was making the Warriors look bad. And then he wasn't playing good on top of that. And he knows it. He said, Steph saved my butt. And we seen in the finals that Draymond Green, the last 3 games of the series, weren't playing many fourth quarter minutes. I think he was benched in the fourth quarter. He was just not playing good, right? But his mouth kept moving on his podcast and on everybody else's podcast, and he thinks he's new media and all this good stuff, right? And I called it. I said, man, this ain't good. This ain't gonna end well. Like, I don't like his cockiness. I don't think he should be that cocky, right? But they backed it up last year, but you see what's happening this year. And I think Draymond is more than part of the issue. I think he's most of the issue right now. It started with his mouth last year, and then it moved into what he did with Jordan Poole at practice that leaked out, him knocking out a teammate. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back wasn't the actual punch. It was the response from the Warriors on how they approached it. And Kevin Durant explained it perfectly because he went on Draymond Green's podcast this summer, and Draymond asked him straight up, man, I've been getting my butt kicked ever since you left because everyone said that you left because of me, right? Can you tell the world why you left, and make me feel better? Because, if I'm the reason you left, I'm going to feel bad, right? And KD was like, nah, it wasn't the fact that we got in an argument. It was the fact that Steve Kerr, Bob Meyer, Joe Lacob, he said it was the fact that the front office and the head coaching act like nothing happened. And he said that the players act like nothing happened. So imagine me calling you a B word on national TV, telling you we don't need you, we won without you. And then Steph, Clay, and all the people in the locker room don't set him straight and say, no, we need KD. Nah, you take that back. Like, yeah, we won without him that one time, but there ain't no way we was going to win again if KD. Like, KD said no one came out with anything like that. And then Steve Kerr and them act like it didn't happen. Like, all right, they thought if we suspend Draymond for 2 games and that fixes everything. But what Kevin Durant was feeling like there was a Golden State core of Draymond, Steph, Clay, Iguodala, Steve Kerr, and all of those guys. That was the core and the foundation of Golden State, and KD felt like an outsider. And it was evident to him when that happened, and everyone just was like, we don't want to step on Draymond's toes, so we'll just let KD feel weird about it. They did it again with this. Jordan Poole gets knocked out, something Draymond Green did again, and he see how everybody respond to it, and it split the locker room up because it's clear that it's a Golden State foundational group of guys that got them 3 rings, right? And then it's the newcomers, Wiggins, Poole, Payton, and Wiseman. Those newcomers, and Kuminga, those newcomers. The locker room is split in half. And Draymond and Clay feels like people like Poole and Kuminga are cocky and overstepping their boundaries and need to be in their place. And Draymond and Clay are feeling like we can see the writing on the wall. They go move forward with the future, and they feel some type of way. So now they trying to puff their chest up, right? And it's a little back and forth. And I think the newcomers see how they treated them after the punch. Like, if you really value Poole, Wiggins, Kuminga, and those dudes, you really would have set that straight. You would have did a better job on fixing that. They didn't even suspend Draymond Green. They was more concerned about ring night on the first game of the season. They didn't want him to miss that. So he didn't get no suspension. He left the team pretty much like what Ja Morant did, except he didn't miss no games. He left the team. I'm going to take some time to myself for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to come back to the team. It was on his own terms. And when you of course, Poole still signed that extension because that's money. But he's got to feel like, man, these clowns don't care nothing about me, man. So the Warriors have a split locker room. They're not playing that great basketball. It seems like they're playing good at home, but on the road, I think that's the true nature of them. What's going on at home? I don't know how they're able to play so well at home. Maybe that home crowd is just enough energy for them to be able to play and overlook some of that stuff, man. But that road record they got, 11 straight losses, and I think they got a horrible road record. I think I want to say they're like 9-27 on the road, something like that. That's very telling, man. Something is wrong for it to be that much of disparity from home and away. Tells me that this is not a X's and O's thing. This is not all of a sudden Steve Kerr can't coach no more. All of a sudden his voice ain't being heard, or it ain't nothing like that. They're playing the same style of offense. They don't have a bunch of new players that don't know the offense, right? They just won a championship last year with this same core. They lost Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton, but the drop off shouldn't be that bad. So this is a eternal issue. This is a chemistry issue, and I think Draymond Green caused it. So how do you fix it? You gotta make a decision. Unfortunately for the Golden State Warriors, you gotta pick somebody. You gotta choose someone, right? You want to go with the old guys, Clay and Dre, or do you think the future is going to be the guys that you drafted, right? And it already seems like they're choosing Clay and Dre because one, your best player is closer to Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. So it's almost like a package deal. Your best, I mean, you don't want to lose your best player, just like Brooklyn Nets just lost KD because they didn't want to treat Kyrie right. It'll be the same thing if you get rid of Klay and Draymond Green. So they kind of got they stuck. They might as well just go ahead and cut ties with the new guys and say we just go get what we get from these old guys, and whenever they done, the run is over. But they trying to have their cake and eat it too, where they keep the new guys and the old guys, and then when the old guys are done, they can just slide right into the new guys and keep the franchise and keep the dynasty going. They're not gonna be able to do that. They're not gonna be able to do that. They got to do it just like everybody else did. Let it run its course. Squeeze all the juice out of it you can, and then when it's over, it's over. You already got rid of Wiseman. Like they made it seem like Wiseman couldn't even play. Sent him to the G League, brought him back up, sent him back to the G League, traded him. Like you making it seem like Wiseman can't even play. And what the real issue is he's too good for that offense. Like they need Wiseman to be like Kevon Looney. I'm going to set screens, play defense, and rebound for y'all. I don't want no points or no touches. Or don't call no plays for me. I get everything off a rebound. That's what they want Wiseman to do. But Wiseman talent is more than that. So it wasn't that he couldn't play. It was the fact that offense was just he outgrew it. Like you are you going to run any plays for Wiseman? Or are you going to let him post up? No, because the offense is catered around getting Steph and Klay open. Klay shoots, Poole shoots, Steph shoots, and Draymond and whoever the center is, Looney, rebound, set screens, play defense, and if they can sneak a shot in, they will. But they're not really looking for their shot. They're trying to get these shooters open. That's the offense, right? But Steve Kerr, like if you get a 7'1" athletic center with offensive ability, why wouldn't you try to implement something that's going to help him strive as well? If you're trying to keep this dynasty going, like if he wasn't a rookie and he was an established player like Anthony Davis, would you make Anthony Davis play like Kevon Looney, or would you let Anthony Davis be Anthony Davis some too? Like Golden State has to grow with the players they're getting, but what they're trying to do is keep the same style of play that they've always had, that they won with, and make the new guys fit into that, regardless of what their talent is. Like this is what you got to do as a big man, and I think Wiseman is a little bit too good for that. Here's another thing that's going on with the Warriors. The chickens are coming home to roost. All that talking, all that front running Draymond Green does, and Klay Thompson is the same thing. They some cocky dudes, and I love Golden State. I rooted for them for a long time. But I mean, I gotta call a spade a spade. They're cocky, and they don't like when somebody else is cocky. They expect for Memphis to back down on them and not be cocky and not talk because they haven't won yet. Now they don't work like that. I'm gonna talk to you. Y'all talk. I'm gonna talk back to you. And it's corny for Klay to be trying to back up his trash talking by telling you how many rings he got. He was doing this 1, 2, 3, 4 to Dylan last night. After they got blowed out, he kept, I got 4 rings. Okay, well, hey, look, how many rings you go get after this year? I know what you got. You got 4 rings. All right, what we doing moving forward? Right, and here's what Dylan had to say about it.
He's got 4 rings. And that's all he was saying. His motivation to us. We want a ring as well. But we need to go through the process of steps that, we did last year and keep going and learning from it all. It's friendly trash talk, but, I just hold a lot of real estate over there in San Francisco.
I thought that was funny. He said, I own a lot of real estate over there in San Francisco, which is true, man. They can't keep Dylan Brooks' name out their mouth, man. I love what Dylan Brooks is doing because he's giving them a taste of their own medicine, man. Draymond Green talk all that trash. Man, I really hope you know, it'll be good for them to meet in the playoffs. It'll be good for the Warriors to lose as well. I just don't like cocky people that's cocky from the front, right? If I like you have to, in order to be cocky, keep winning. You can't be cocky based off what you did last year or the year before. Like that's over with. Like all that cockiness was over this summer. When the season started, it was a new season. You can brag at the championship parade and talk about all the rings you got and all the stuff at the parade. But when a new season starts, it's a new season. You don't build equity for the new season. Last year is over. After the parade and after the summer was over and when y'all came back to training camp, new season. And what have Golden State done this season? They went to training camp. Draymond Green punched out their third base player. He didn't get traded. The team chose Draymond over Poole, and they still tried to give Poole the money and keep him. The locker room got split and broken up. They started out losing buku games, especially on the road, and they're still at 500 right now. Might not even make the play-in, might not make the playoffs, and that's what you've done this season. You don't have the right to do this. That was over this summer, right? Right now, Memphis is beating y'all butt. They just beat y'all 2 times in the last week, convincingly, without Ja Morant. Like, let that sink in. No Ja Morant, led by Jaren Jackson Jr. and Dylan Brooks. I'm spanking cheeks. Y'all getting y'all tail handed to y'all, and then getting trash talked to y'all while they doing it. And all y'all can do is, I got 4 rings. Now you better get in there and fix that locker room. Them 4 rings ain't gonna do it for you. Y'all should have traded Steph. I'm not Steph. Y'all should have traded Draymond Green before the deadline. All right, y'all go pay for that. If Steph is that all-time great, we say he is, should he be able to be held accountable for not bringing them together? Like, I mean, I don't think so, because I don't think all-time great is predicated on your vocal skills in the locker room. Everybody ain't gonna have that. Like, if we want to think about all-time greats, we don't know what Jason Kidd was saying in the locker room. All right, we don't know what Reggie Miller was saying in the locker room. We don't know what Dame was saying in the locker room. So imagine if your personality is not Michael Jordan and Kobe. Like, we know Michael Jordan and Kobe was getting on their teammates because that's in their personality. Like, you could see that in everyday life with them. That's how they operate. So we think that people are supposed to be opposite of what their personality is, and just magically in the sports world, I'm a whole totally different person in the locker room when I talk to people. Nah, he like just like KD. Like, everybody was like, "Oh man, KD, why you not forcing Kyrie to get the shot, and why you not doing this? You're not a good leader." Okay, you can say that. You can say he's not a good leader or he's not a vocal leader, but they don't take away from him from being an all-time great. All-time great is how good you are at basketball, right? You can be good at basketball and be a horrible leader. I don't think Dennis Rodman was a good leader. I don't think he was. I don't really know if David Robinson was a good leader. I know he was a good leader in one aspect, that his example was there. I know that he wasn't lazy. I know that he was going to be a person that was going to work out and take care of his body and eat right and show up and give it his all, right? So that's one aspect of leading, but the vocal part of it, everybody ain't going to have it in their repertoire, and that's fine. That's fine. And you just got to build your team around it. Okay, you got a vocal guy in Draymond. Cool. Draymond talks, and Draymond and Steph are connected. So if my vocal guy and my best player, my all-time great player, are connected, then I guess it works that way. I don't even know what Pippen was as a vocal guy. but him and MJ was connected. So Pippen could lead by just his example. But when it came to this, you know, it might have came from Jordan, but Jordan didn't have to do it because he had a coach that did it. You know, that's another thing people miss, man. The leader of the team is really the coach, and the point guard in most cases is the coach on the floor and is the extension of the coach. But then in some rare cases, it's not your point guard; it's the extension of the coach. It's the best player that's an extension. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, I think that's a little overrated to put somebody's greatness on the line based on how vocal they are as a leader, you know, and putting that stuff together. Now I don't think Steph ever done that, but he's still the best shooter we've ever seen, and he still got 4 rings, 2 MVPs, 1 unanimous. You know what I mean? But yeah, hopefully y'all coming around and understand it's not good basketball to consolidate 2 major roles in your best player. You know, and that's a reference back to Jokic. I just read your comment about Jokic playing losing basketball. The next few games are against teams all with win streaks. Yeah, it's gonna be scary hours for the Warriors. The Warriors and the Lakers, man, it's gonna be interesting. They might not make the play-in. That was ever since the play-in started. I think the Warriors and Lakers, except for last year, the Warriors and the Lakers was in the play-in. That's kind of funny, man. Yeah, they go be in it again this year. It's gonna be interesting. I think they get some home, and then end of that big 3. I think they get sent home. Oh, they getting sent home first round is the end of that big 3. It should have been the end of it this at the trade deadline. Like, seriously, man. Like, and I get it, man. We want teams to be loyal to players, just like players are loyal to their team. So it's part of me that's saying that Golden State got 4 rings out of Draymond, Clay, and Steph. So they've earned the right to go down fighting. Don't cut the umbilical cord just yet, which is what Jared Krause did with the Bulls. He couldn't wait to get rid of Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, and he thought that he was going to get rid of Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen and keep Jordan and build around Jordan with a second group of guys. And Jordan didn't want no parts of it. Now he was like, I want to play for Phil and I want to play with Scottie. Trade anybody, but don't get rid of Phil and Scottie. Right? Those was his guys. And I think Steph feel the same way about Draymond and Clay. They're my guys, man. And we got you 4 rings, and we made your franchise worth of multiple billions. We've earned the right to finish this thing out. So the Warriors might be stuck and saying, you know what, yeah, we're gonna have to ride it out. And Jordan Poole and Kuminga gonna have to wait their turn. Right? But I mean, when you can't make a guy that's ready to burst out of the seams or ready to have a breakout year. You can't keep putting them on the shelf and telling them to wait. It's the same problem that happened in Boston. Tatum and Brown was ready to blossom. Gordon Hayward was in the way. Tracy McGrady in Toronto was ready to blossom, but they would not let him blossom because Vince Carter was their guy. James Harden was ready to blossom. He had to leave OKC and go to Houston. When a player is ready, you can't hold them back. You got to let them go. Steve Nash was even ready to blossom in Dallas. He went to Phoenix and exploded. 2 straight MVPs. Right? So great players, you can't hold them under the radar alone. Jordan Poole wants his own squad, probably. Kuminga can't even get playing time. Dano, what's up?
Kuminga can't even get playing. You can hear me, bro?
Yeah, turn YouTube off in the background, though.
I got it. I'm muted it.
Okay. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, man, I just want to call in, because this is a real big subject for the Warriors, man. Like you said, they are stuck in the rock between a rock and a hard spot because, like you said, you get 4 rings out of this big 3 that you developed together. But on the flip side, I have A+ potential with Jordan Poole. I have A+ potential with Jonathan Kuminga, with his skill set, the way he rebounds, the way he protects the paint, the way he could get a bucket at any level, the intangibles, the way he hustles, right? Then you have Kevon Looney, another one. Man, like, what do you do? Do you keep the original, or do you build another a new big 3 with Poole, Kuminga, and maybe find you a shooter in the draft that can replace Clay, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think what's making it hard is the fact that I think what's making it hard is the relationship between Steph, Clay, and Dre.
Right, exactly.
That's making it hard, just the relationship, right? Because common sense will tell you, man, if I could trade Clay right now for a first rounder, I would. If I could trade Draymond right now for another veteran or another defensive guy that ain't getting max contract money, I would. Right? Like, I mean, because seriously, just think about it. Otto Porter Jr. was better in the lineup last year in the finals than Draymond Green was, and it wasn't even close. But they had to let Otto Porter Jr. go. But common sense would have told you to let Draymond Green go. Otto Porter Jr. is cheaper. I know you like Draymond Green as a defensive guy, and he can guard multiple positions, and he's tough, and he's vocal in a lot of
Otto do the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, except he's not that loud. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And he has a better offensive skill set.
Of course. I would have kept Otto. I don't even know what Otto is right now. I would have kept Otto.
I think he's a free agent, honestly, man.
Yeah, somebody missing out on picking him up, man. I would have him on my roster right now. Phoenix need to go get him. But then you had Gary Payton. Then you had Gary Payton, who was another lockdown defender who was also providing some offense, right? You had to let him go because you couldn't afford him, because you wanted to keep Draymond and Clay, right? So right. And you know, so if the people who helped Steph out the most last year in the playoffs was Wiggins, Jordan Poole. Those was the two that helped him out the most.
Yeah, those. If we're being completely honest here, I think Andrew Wiggins had a better overall playoff stretch than Steph did. Because remember, Steph missed a few games with injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when he was out, Andrew Wiggins was doing it on both sides of the ball.
He was, and Poole
at an elite level.
Right, and Poole was playing so good that Steve Kerr didn't want to put him on the bench when Steph came back because he didn't want to lose him mentally. Like, man, you hot and you've been carrying the team in the playoffs, but we're gonna put you on the bench because Steph is back. He was like, man, I'm gonna bring Steph off the bench, and that was just like a message to Jordan Poole that, hey man, we still support you. Right, we starting you over Steph for 2 games, but eventually Steph, of course, got his position back. But the reason why they did that is because they couldn't really do it to Clay, because Clay is feeling some type of way about Jordan Poole's existence.
I was going to ask you now, did they jump the gun too early on Jordan Poole? But now, don't get me wrong, great scorer, not elite yet, but can be, and it's looking like you've gotten worse defensively.
Jordan,
you know
Poole?
What I mean?
Who, Jordan Poole?
Yeah,
it's possible. Poole. It's possible, but I mean, you can't keep both of them. One of them got to go. Right? You know.
If you had to choose who's taking right now, today. I'm taking Clay. I still have to take Clay, man.
I think I mean, so. No, I mean, I got to do the right thing and go with the younger guy. I got to, even though I love Clay, I got to. It's gonna look bad at first, but they'll understand it later. Clay would have to go. I would move forward with Poole, because think about what I think Clay might be. All right, so I'm gonna look at their contract first. I'm gonna look at their contract, and I'm gonna look down the line at how much time Clay, how much years Clay got left on his contract, and I'm gonna look and see, am I gonna be getting the same thing from him in that last year on that contract that I'm getting from him when he signed it?
So it has to make sense financially and performance wise. Like,
Correct.
I have to be getting something out of you. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So I mean, it's just because literally the only reason why he's still there is relationship and loyalty.
Absolutely.
But if it was just about business, you would have done the right thing. Think about what you would have got for Clay.
Similar to what Boston did for Gordon Hayward. You break your leg, you come back, we give you half a season, and then we ship you off and get more for you.
Right. You got to make that, and that's why Danny Ainge is. I don't think Danny Ainge care about nobody. I mean, this the same dude who told Isaiah Thomas to play 2 days after his sister died in a car accident, and then they traded him for Kyrie that summer. Danny Ainge, though, cause that's a heartless individual. He don't care. Right.
It's straight business.
Straight business. We got an opportunity to get Kyrie for Isaiah. Bye. This dude was just in the playoffs crying on the bench during the game. That's some heartless stuff, man. So
he played his heart out too, man. I think he gave everything in his tank plus more. Like, I lost my sister. I'm dealing with am I going to be traded or not? Like, but I'm still coming out here giving people 40, and I'm the smallest on the court.
Right. So Golden State, they should have been thinking along those terms and say, look, we gotta make sense out of this, man. Like, Poole is doing is exactly what Clay could do, but more. Right.
Okay.
On offense, at least. So if I trade Clay, what do I get? Do I get a first rounder? Do I get a second rounder? Or do I get another piece that I can use this season? Who knows? But let's just say you just get a draft pick for Clay. You get a draft pick and they probably gotta dump some salary, so they probably send us a couple of players your way to make the money work because Clay got a big contract. So Clay's gone. You got a draft pick and a couple other players. Okay, great. Right. Draymond, same thing. He's gone. But we would have kept Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton, and Kuminga could have been starting at the power forward.
Yep.
With Wiggins.
Yep, sure.
It could have been Loney, Wiggins, Kuminga, Poole, Steph, and then they could have been coming off the bench with Wiseman, and they could have implemented more offense for Wiseman where he's getting the ball in the post and using his ability. Because right now,
man, I hate that they got rid of him, man. I like Wiseman a lot, man.
I do too, man. And they shot that
I like
dude
him
confidence.
a lot. Yes. But I've seen him. I watched a few Piston games with when he's playing. I don't think his confidence is gone. It almost is like he's turned into a villain. He's playing like, okay, I got something to prove now.
Yeah.
And that's going to be scary because when Detroit comes back next year and let's say they get another lottery pick, Jaden Ivey comes back, like, oh, man.
Cade Cunningham.
That Detroit, Cade Cunningham, like, oh, my goodness, man.
Could be good.
That's going to be a good squad. That's going to be a good squad to watch.
They could be good. They need vets, though, because if they don't get vets, they go be just like what
Absolutely,
the Rockets are. Yeah, I don't like the Houston Rockets right now. They got rid of all the vets they had and just got young guys out there, talented young guys. But how you go put it together? The coach is a first year head coach, not first year, but this is second year now, or third year.
Same thing with how Orlando Magic, like, they need vets and they need somebody who can actually coach young guys.
I love the pieces on the Orlando Magic squad. I love it.
Yeah. They just need one. They need one or two vets, something similar to like how Andre Iguodala does for the Warriors, or how Will Barton was doing for Denver a couple years back. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So let me get back to Golden State though. What you think the issue is? Why they can't win on the road?
The issue is, all right, so one, there's a lot of you started the season terrible with a lot of outside noise, i.e. the Draymond versus Jordan Poole, right? The talks about who's getting paid, who are they gonna choose. So you kind of started the season off on a wrong foot where you guys really wasn't locked in for real. You know what I mean? You're gonna play home. You're gonna play good at home regardless. You guys have been doing that since this team has been put together. But when you go on the road and you got to deal with hostile environments, that's what they quote them as. You know, with the audiences and stuff like that, it's gonna play a role. You know, that outside noise just becomes amplified. So I think it's you starting the season off on the wrong foot and never really being able to turn that portion around. You know what I mean? And losing Andrew Wiggins and not being able to have his poise, his defensive presence on the road, like that plays a part too. But I think the biggest issue truly is chemistry. And like I said, that started before the season even started. It's the chemistry.
Yeah, it's off.
You know what I mean? Like they're playing good ball. Like if you individually, Steph is having a great year. Individually, Jordan Poole is having a great year. Individually, Draymond is having similar years to what he's been doing. Clay, not so much, but still effective. You know what I mean? But it's just chemistry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no gelling. There, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it looks a lot. Instead of Warriors basketball, it looked like a lot of ISO ball, or you know what I mean. Here, you're gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. They're
trying to make it work, but they don't like each other.
Exactly.
I don't think
Exactly.
none of the new guys like the old guys, and none of the old guys like the new guys. I really do think Dre and Clay are a little bit jealous of Kuminga and Poole because they see that you know they're there to be their replacements. And the more confidence that Poole and Kuminga gets, the more jealous Draymond and Clay feels, and the more they feel like they need to pump their chest to prove and show them that, look, man, we got something for this franchise that y'all ain't got, right? And they feel the need to prove that, and you can tell they that petty because they had to prove it to the Grizzlies last night by telling them we got 4 rings. So imagine what they're telling them young guys in that locker room when those young guys feel like they feeling themselves a little bit too much.
And especially Draymond, he's going to be the first one to let you know, hey, you're not needed.
Of course.
We got 4 rings.
If he told Kevin Durant that, what the hell do you think he's telling Jordan Poole?
Exactly.
And all Kevin Durant did is say, dude, it's the game-winning shot. Give the rock up to me. That's all Kevin Durant said. And Draymond was like, dude, this is how we play. We've been doing this before you got here. We won without you. We don't need you. He told the best player in the league that. So what the heck do you think he telling Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and Wiseman when they feel like they should touch the ball?
Now, and this is a question that we should ask as well. As a young upcoming star in the league, do I step back? Do I stand toe to toe with that? Do I respond to that? How do I respond to that? And like, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is, how would you respond as a young upcoming player to that? Would you respond negative way, or would you?
Anything I do on the basketball court, anything I do on the basketball court is WWJD. What would Jordan do?
Okay. So you, so you gonna make them feel? You gonna make them need you?
Oh yeah. For sure. You gonna have to either get out of my way or one of us getting traded. But we ain't about to coexist. I'm not about to come up and live with my girlfriend while her ex still lives there.
Right.
So
That's a perfect analogy.
I'm here now. I'm Jordan Poole. I'm here now. If you want me here and you want to keep me here, your ex got to go, or you need to explain to him who I am. right?
Right.
Right now, they're trying to tell Poole, we're committed to you. We're gonna give you this money. However, you don't come before these guys. So how do you tell the new guy, here's your money. We want you. We're paying you like you're the guy, but you're not the guy. They're still the guy, even though they can't play no more. And then you letting them talk to me any type of way, knock me out at practice. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's hostile. That's hot.
And
that's
I wouldn't
hostile.
even. And man, if I'm Jordan Poole, man, for you guys even allowing this and trying to tell me to push the blind eye to it, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah, and I don't think he want to be there no more. But you can't turn down that contract though.
Shit, I would.
You can't nah, because this your first time getting a contract. Your agent is like, dude, do not request a trade. They're gonna label you like you are a problem child. Whoever trades for you is gonna use that as leverage to not give you the contract. You're like, take this money now. They're offering you the contract you want. Take it. We can ask for a trade next year. Take the money. They had to secure that contract first.
What we say in Domino's? All money ain't good money.
Oh yeah, you're right. All money ain't good money. It ain't. All money ain't good money. But hey, man, that was a strategy. I think that was the strategy. The money was on the table. Take that money. If he already had the contract and that happened, he probably would have requested a trade. Like,
absolutely, I agree with
that. Or said trade Draymond. It's got to be one of us, right? But he didn't want to be a problem, man. But it broke the locker room. The locker room was probably already a little bit broken because Draymond was frustrated about hearing that he was gonna get that contract in the first place. You know what I mean? And Clay, man, he's so prideful. I mean that dude is prideful. He does not like it. Even when KD came over there and they asked him, was he gonna sacrifice his shots? He said, I ain't taking less shots for nobody. Steph had to sacrifice his shots.
Man, the thing is, I don't get it. Like, as good as you guys are, like, put that pride aside. Take a pay cut.
Well, if
it's rings that you really care about, because that's the first thing that comes out of you guys' mouth. That's the first thing that comes out of you guys' mouth. Like, okay, then prove that.
Yeah, but they feel like in their mind, I don't think they need Jordan Poole. I think Clay and Draymond thinks that as long as they got Steph, they could put any shooter in Jordan Poole's role. They could. I feel like they think they could have got. I don't know. I mean, because they tried it with D'Lo. They went and got D'Lo. They thought that was gonna work.
Right.
They was like, man, we can just get any shooter to go around Steph and Draymond. Because when Clay went down, they went and got D'Lo. It didn't work. They traded D'Lo for Wiggins. It seemed to work out because he's a great player, right? But they're prideful. They think they can fit anybody in there. It ain't even got to be no all-star. It ain't got to be Bradley Beal or nothing like that. They feel like they can get, just name me a shooter. They probably feel like they can get
a Buddy Hield or something.
They could get Buddy Hield in the place of Jordan Poole. That's what they feel like, and they probably could. But that's what they feel like, and they feel like they got to prove that to Jordan Poole. Feel like they got to prove it to Jordan Poole.
Man, that's
yeah. So that's what it is. But while I got you on the line, let's move to Sacramento.
Oh man, I think they can really do something this year. I'm not putting championship dreams and expectations on them, but I do think they could make it out of the first round and possibly make it to the conference finals, just off of how good they're playing together. You know what I mean? They kind of resemble, and just chemistry wise, not actually play type and stuff like that, but just chemistry wise, how the Miami Heat were last year.
Okay.
You know, nobody's really talking about them, but they're just playing perfectly together. That's kind of what they're doing now. And that's scary because you have so many teams that are still trying to find chemistry in the West, i.e. Phoenix, Dallas, Memphis, you know, just because of people being out and stuff like that. So, but these guys, they actually have their chemistry.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be scary. They have a hell of a coach.
He should be coaching the year.
Man. Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the issue for Sacramento though. Despite everything we just said about Golden State, the playoffs is different. They're going to call games different, and the more experienced team, the more experienced players, the more experienced superstars, they know how to navigate the way the games is going to be called. They know how to adjust if the game is being called. Let's say the game is being called loose. They know exactly what to do. Oh, it's been called loose. That means we can get away with this X, Y, and Z. Or if the game's been called tight, all right, we got to play this style. What happens with the young teams and what it happened to Memphis last year, that difference in what the regular season and the playoffs is, that shocks them a little bit, and the more experienced teams usually get them up out of there. So with that being said,
similar to what happened in Memphis last year.
Right. So with that being said, the Kings is going to be the Memphis of this playoffs. And the funny thing is, they're in the 2 seed, and the Warriors are in the 7 seed.
That will match up the Warriors the first round.
Right. Well, it's still, because 7, 8, 9, and 10 they play in the play-in. So the 7 and 8 seed still is depending on what happens in the play-in. But let's just say it ends up the way it is now, and Golden State is the 7. They'll be facing the Kings in Sacramento.
And I like Sacramento just based off of that, the way they're playing on the road, the way they're bumping heads. Right, I like Sacramento.
So you don't think they're going to run into the same thing that Memphis ran into playing Golden State last season?
No, because regardless of so last year Golden State, right, their problem wasn't chemistry; it was health. So this year their problem is chemistry.
And you can say health because they're not gonna have Wiggins, even though he's not gone for health reasons. But they're not gonna have Wiggins. They're not gonna have Gary Payton either.
I don't. As good as they are, as seasoned as they are, it's the same thing I've been saying for 2 years now. These young teams, they just have a different fire under them. The more seasoned you are, the more elite you are, the more praise you're given, the more somebody wants to knock your head off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're talking about a young team that hasn't been a playoff caliber team. Not only have they not been a playoff caliber team, they ain't never been in the playoffs as that team. The playoffs are different. It's not regular season. And you're talking about season that just came off a championship versus, and I'm gonna definitely say Anthony Wiggins will be back for he'll be back. Okay. None for me to have more money, and I'm gonna have to deal with divorcing this bitch, and I'm still gonna have to pay child support because I found verse 50 and 9 kids. Nah, he need that money. So he most definitely be back in time for playoffs.
What if he has a Paul George type of playoff run though? Where I'm battling everything I got going on mentally, and I can't perform to how I'm used to performing.
He has one. He know what it takes. Paul George don't know what it takes to have one.
Tell her to call the number.
Huh?
Tell her to call the number on the screen. I want to hear what she.
You want me to? Well, she's sitting right next to me. That's what I'm saying. Like.
Yeah, but she can't hear me though. Can she hear me?
Yeah, you want to speak?
Okay. Okay. So if I hear her clear, she's saying that the Warriors would you. So you would be picking the Warriors if they. Say again.
They beat Sacramento most definitely.
Okay, so if they face Sac, you'll be picking the Warriors over them for that series.
Say that again.
So you will be picking Golden State if they face Sacramento in the playoffs.
If Golden State gets to the playoffs, if they make playoffs, they're gonna beat Sacramento.
Okay.
That's why I disagree as well. Yes, nobody has been really there for that Sacramento team, but we're talking about a second generational big man who is very, very skilled with the ball. You know what I mean? I think the bonus will just be too much for Kuminga and Looney this year.
It's possible. It depends on how they call the game, though.
That's true, because you can't run into something similar to what happened to Denver when they played Golden State last year. You that's all possible as well. But man, they're deep too. Now they have a great bench as well. You got Malik Monk, 6th Man of the Year candidate. You have Davion Mitchell, a straight two-way. You know what I mean? Man, they got some pieces over there now. Like, and I think the bench play will make the difference, because you lose Andre Iguodala for the remainder of the season with that broken wrist. That hurts, because that's one of your top defenders, especially in the playoffs. Now, if Wiggins comes back and he's not playing up to par as well, that's another piece that you have to be like, okay, well, I can't really use him the way I'm used to using him, so now I have to go to somebody else. Who's that somebody else for them? It's gonna have to be Kevon Looney. It's gonna have to be Jonathan Kuminga. It's gonna have to be Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? DiVincenzo, he's another one. He's been in the playoffs, so they will have to rely on him as well. DiVincenzo is a very good two-way as well. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I think it's the chemistry. I think it's the chemistry that's really giving Sacramento the edge.
Last year, did you support the State Farm?
Yeah. What about them?
Did you see them getting to the finals last year?
Yeah.
They was playing good basketball. They was playing good basketball.
They were favorites to go out of the West last year.
Well, I saw them getting to the conference finals against the Suns.
I saw them getting to the conference. You didn't see them getting to the finals last year.
Yeah, because
same thing. Memphis was going to be too young.
Hold on. The reason why we didn't see them getting to the finals is because Phoenix was a better team. No one seen Phoenix getting cheated in 3 straight games against Dallas. So what ended up happening is the Warriors end up getting the Memphis Grizzlies in pretty much their first playoff appearance. They too young and not understanding what was going on. Then they got Denver, and they frauds. And their first challenge was supposed to be in the conference finals against Phoenix, but they end up getting another inexperienced team in Dallas who was a one-man show. So they had a cakewalk to the finals. And then they met Boston, and Boston should have beat them, to be honest with you. But it was just, Steph played lights out. So yeah, I saw them getting to the conference finals and losing to Phoenix, but Phoenix didn't get there. So Dallas, Denver, and Memphis was not a challenge for them at all.
Yeah, I think we've had a couple episodes. Like I had it Miami versus Golden State.
Majority also are young teams. So what I'm seeing is that in the playoffs,
right?
They're still playing high caliber ball. You got season vets in the playoffs still playing high caliber ball. It's hard for me to take a young team that ain't never really been on this stage over that. I can't do that. You can show me. You most definitely can show me. But right now, if I'm gambling right now, who you gonna gamble with? You'll gamble with the Warriors, or you'll gamble with Sacramento?
I'm taking Sacramento.
I'm with her. I'm taking the Warriors. Seriously.
I'm taking Sacramento.
I'm not being biased.
I'm not being biased and none of that. I'm being real. If you go back to my and I've been saying this for the last.
How they're playing right now.
I've been saying this. Wait. I've been saying this for the last 2 seasons, and I've said it a few times on the episode as well. Sacramento is going to be good.
Nobody's taking that away from them, but they ain't never been on that stage yet.
I'm still running with Sacramento.
Okay.
Because the chemistry right now for the Warriors is just not up to par.
Regular season chemistry and
They have never. If
the Warriors end up with 4 games, if that series goes 7 and the Warriors end up with 4 games home, the Warriors are winning that series.
Understand what it's
If
different.
that series goes 6, listen.
They don't have same wins on the road at all. They are arguably the worst road team in NBA history.
They don't care about road games.
You have to when you're going to be playing on the road in the playoffs.
They show you that in the playoffs.
But they wasn't playing on the road last year. They were at home.
All their games were at home, bro. They don't care about road games. They'll take a loss. They took that.
What seed was Golden State last year?
For the championship. Matter of fact, with Boston, they took a loss just to get back home, bro.
What seed was Golden State?
They had a high seed because they had home court advantage in the finals. So
exactly.
there was a higher seed than Boston was.
You don't get that home court advantage this year. It's not disrespect. You got to think logically. These guys are 7. These guys are 7 and almost 30 on the road this year. That does not translate to championship basketball. Straight up,
it doesn't, especially
at
not
all.
this late in the season.
Nowhere.
But still, with that being said, Dano, with that being said, I still would pick the Warriors. I'm with her. If you're putting money on it, you have to put money on history.
Right now, you mean to tell me that you're gonna pick Sacramento over the? No, you're not, bro. No, you're not.
Yeah, it's a hard sell for me, Dino, man. I gotta go with the Warriors because I probably would go with Sacramento if the referees didn't call the game different in the playoffs. The fact that they changed the whole game, like it's not even the same. It's not even the same league in the playoffs.
I'm gonna give you another reason why too. That year, Steve Kerr was missing all of those games, right? Who was their interim coach?
Walton.
No, it was Mike Brown.
It was Mike Brown, and guess who he's coaching?
No, it was Walton. Hold on, it was Walton.
It was Mike Brown.
What year?
It was Mike Brown.
It was
the year Steve Kerr missed. So it was probably maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, put money on it. It was Bill Walton. Put money on it.
Nah, it was Mike Brown.
Okay.
I'm about to look it up right now.
So it must be 2 different times with Steve Kerr missed time then, because I know for sure it was Bill Walton 1 year, and that's the reason why he ended up getting that. Did he get the Lakers job or the Sacramento Kings job?
No, Mike Brown got the Sacramento Kings job.
Nah, Walton had it first.
Talking about Luke Walton?
Yeah, Luke Walton. Yeah, Luke Walton did some amazing stuff while Kerr was out, and everyone thought he was an amazing coach. And he got the Lakers job. He got the Lakers job based on what he did in Golden State.
Kerr tested positive for COVID. Mike Brown will coach for. Oh, never mind. That's all I want. Never mind.
No, it was before that. He went to LA and was trash, and then LA fired him. Magic Johnson.
Mike Brown. It was Mike Brown. It was 2022. He moved to 12-0 in the playoffs as the Warriors interim head coach. It was Mike Brown.
Bro, that was last year. We talking about before. You talking about before it was Bill Walton. That was 12 games. Bill Walton.
I'm talking about last year, right? Last year he missed. Steve Kerr missed time last year too, right?
I guess I didn't remember that. All I remember is what happened when Bill Walton was coaching, and Brown
was hired. Hold on. Maybe I think this one might be it. Brown was hired by the Warriors to be their lead assistant on July 4, 2016. He even served as their acting head coach when Kerr was ill by a back issue. The Warriors went 13-0 in the 16-17 playoffs with Brown taking over for Kerr, who eventually returned during those same playoffs.
And I look up Luke Walton.
But what I'm getting at, right? This is somebody who's coached this team. They're not very much different other than maybe 1 or 2 pieces, right? He's coached that team. So if I'm able to step in and do that with them, what makes you think I can't beat these guys? Like I know how they play. I know how to coach them. You don't think I know how to coach against them?
It's because
with a very sound defensive team.
But Mo, it's because of the element that we're not factoring in, which is how the league calls the games, or how the ref is going to call the game.
That's true too. That's true.
Like we can't.
I think both y'all both have a case for both coaches, because it says Luke Walton in the 15-16 season guided the team to the longest winning streak to open the season at 24-0.
Yeah. And that's what got him the Lakers job.
Both coaches did a good job taking over for Steve Kerr. And both coaches got coaching jobs off of 13-0.
13 all right. Impressive growth, not on the shape. But this is a playoff caliber team before he coached. Like,
I do, yeah, absolutely.
He was just taken away from the team by just putting a coach there. Good coaching. If I got a good team already, just adding good coaching that's gonna make it better. We're not saying he's a bad coach.
Tell her to call the number so everybody can hear her, because she's saying some good stuff and everybody can't hear her. Tell her to call the number.
How to get a little closer.
My thing is the inexperience. They're inexperienced in the playoffs. Just because I got a coach that don't been there, the coach ain't playing.
Facts.
The coach ain't playing. This team ain't never touched the playoffs. Ever.
Listen. Sometimes talent beats inexperience, and if you have a good coach.
This is true, but not most of the time. Not in this league.
I didn't say most of the time. I said sometimes. And I'm gonna tell you this. With the Warriors' road issues and them having to play 4 road games in a series, and you got this talented Sacramento team with a good coach, I got Sacramento. I got Sacramento.
Boy, y'all brave. Y'all brave, man. Y'all are so brave.
Come on, man. Look at, bro. They're 7-29 on the road, bro.
Bro, this is the NBA, man. What's supposed to happen usually will happen. That's not often the team that's supposed to win don't win. Golden State is supposed to win.
This is what I'm getting at too, though. We're talking about a team that's guaranteed home court advantage versus a team that might not even make the playoffs this year. Yes, it's Steph Curry, Draymond, and Clay, but they might not even get in. That's how bad they have been playing.
Hey, Raheem said
about them like as if they're playing good and they're about to run into another hot team. Nah, they just really haven't been playing. Who?
Golden State.
They was top 3 in the West.
They was a 53 win team last season.
A 53-win team. They don't even have 10 wins on the road this year.
They gotta go. They gotta, even if they go undefeated for the rest of the season, they won't get 50 wins.
They have 5 home games left and 5 away games left, and their next 6 games come against teams all on win streak.
Not to mention, they're in the middle of a road. They're in the middle of a road trip, a 5-game road trip, and they dropped the first 2. Actually, excuse me.
You got. I think that first game is Houston. You can take that, but that second one is Dallas.
Listen, man. I hear everything y'all say. I'm not against nothing y'all saying. Man, you've been talking about Fox for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
We talk about Sacramento. I'm good with that. Not saying that they're a bad team.
Right. They're just young. I get that.
Playoff caliber. Playoff caliber.
I understand what you're saying.
You can't compare the regular season to the playoffs.
You got to get in there, though.
Then if they get then we can have a
Listen, I hear what you're saying.
I can't do that. So what if KD come back? KD gonna make it back in time for playoffs?
That's another good question.
It's likely, he might miss the first round.
You were talking about the Clippers last night. It's too much going on in the West for most folks to sit here and tell me Sacramento falling.
No, but look at what I have.
Hold on. Let me say
I didn't put high expectations on Sacramento for them to win a championship. But I do like them to get out the first round and possibly even make it to the conference finals. I did say that. I'm not saying they're going all the way like it's going to be Sacramento out the West. No, not at all. Because I still like Denver. I still like the Clippers. So it's, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that they're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Let me say this piece. You expect, so you mean to tell me that Golden State's road issues are just automatically going to be fixed as soon as the playoffs start?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if you had to choose between Sacramento and Golden State, who would you choose? And I would most definitely choose Golden State.
I have to say what I've seen from the season and apply that to my decision for the playoffs. They cannot win on the road. Their first 2 games, if they make the play-in, are going to be on the road.
Against a very hot team.
That's an 0-2 start.
But the mindset of playing changes. I'm saying, yeah, everything changes because, bro, I made it through the front door of the job, goddamn it. I'm just trying to get like they say, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Once you get your foot in the door, you show your ass in, right? If they get their foot in the door, who's to say that they're not going to show their ass?
I agree with you there because I feel the same way about the Heat. You don't want the Heat getting in the playoffs, period, just because it's hard to beat the Heat in 7 games. I agree with you there. Yeah, don't let them in. But that's the thing.
I'll tell you this. The last 6 or 7 times that the Warriors made the playoffs, they were nothing less than a 3 seed. Them being a bottom feeder, barely getting in, is gonna mess with their head. The fact that they don't.
Ain't nobody picking them to win it. Ain't nobody picking them to win it, man. We don't think how bad they've been playing that they got what it takes to even get to the conference finals. But Sacramento, they could be a victim in this. They could be a victim for sure.
I'm gonna put it like this. I got Sacramento in 6.
Like I said, they gotta show me. I'm a fan. I'm most definitely a fan. Me and Dino talk about this all the time. Yeah. But you would have to show me that. Because with gambling, and people don't factor that, just like y'all say, the referee, with gambling, bro, who really sees Sacramento? Who really is gonna bet with Sacramento? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit, this year, I think they're 46. I think they're 46 percenters against the odds. Like, no, but I get what you're saying. Like, I do believe that though. Their youth is gonna be their downfall, but I feel like if Mike Brown is as good as we think he is, I think he can help them overcome that being young.
And then you get what I mean? Hey, hold on. Mike Brown, the head coach, he coached this team. He told them, he's under Kerr, so I like to believe that Kerr knows how Mike Brown would coach as well. It's not right. Man, no, I can't do that, bro. I can't. I respect y'all decision to do it, but me personally, there's no way if Sacramento and Golden State gotta play, I can't take them.
Let me ask you this. Speaking on the coaches, Mike Brown was a head coach before Steve Kerr was. Mike Brown led the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James to a finals when he didn't even have a second star. Mike Brown is a defensive specialist, right? Is it possible, this being his first season after he left Golden State, is it possible that Mike Brown meant more to Golden State success than Steve Kerr did?
No, I'm not going to say that.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to say
crazy. That's a crazy take. That's a crazy take, bro.
For that championship run last year, how many playoff games in total? And he went 13-0, most definitely. Most people wouldn't say that to you, but I would. Most definitely. Most definitely. Bro, the whole time while you was out, I kept shit afloat. I don't really know your playbook like that. Shit, you probably calling on the phone with me and shit, but bro, you just handed me. I pretty much just got handed the team. And like you said, although I have been in this position before, you know what I'm saying? I ain't expect to be put in that position like that. So yeah, and to go 13-0, most definitely.
Yeah, and even without the 13-0 piece, right? Because when Tom Thibodeau
he's never been a bad coach.
He's never been a bad coach. That style of play didn't fit that team. But like you said, him in Cleveland, most definitely. Then he got fired. I never understood why he got fired. Well, he got fired because LeBron left, and they didn't think that he could. They
just cleared house.
Yeah, they cleared house, but he's a defensive specialist, just like Tom Thibodeau was a defensive specialist. And Tom Thibodeau put the whole scheme together for the Boston Celtics Big Three for the Doc Rivers staff. And when Tom Thibodeau left and got that Bulls job, you all of a sudden seeing that Doc Rivers couldn't have that defense rocking no more. Like this guy's a defensive guru. And without him being there on Golden State staff, it's probably a huge loss.
Them boys run. They run. You gotta think about that. Golden State run all damn night.
Nah, it's different. I run in the half court. What I'm talking about with Sacramento, these guys are playing defense and they are getting up the court. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous how fast they're getting up the court.
Yeah, but that fast pace don't always translate to the playoffs. Number one, number two.
No. Don't get me wrong. I hear you, and I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, when they start defending, and let's be honest here, Jordan Poole, he's good for 3 turnovers. He's very good for turning the ball over. When they start running, when they start feeding off of that energy, it's like I've seen these guys, and they shoot good. I think they shoot at average over the season. I think they're shooting above 60% from the field, and they're shooting threes as well. So that translates too. I'm very efficient with my shots. I'm getting out there. I'm getting to my high percentage shot areas. I'm playing defense. I think we're top 5 in steals. I think we're top 10 in blocks. Like they're not just young and playing good basketball. Like
they number one. They number one in point scoring too. They got the number 1 offense in the league.
And they're number 1 in point scoring. So I'm shooting very efficient. I'm scoring a lot of points. I'm playing defense at a high level. I'm doing everything that checks off the box. Memphis wasn't doing that. They were playing good ball, but they weren't checking boxes off like this.
They were playing great defensive ball last year against them boys. That was a good series. Curry just you got your players, and you got to take into account for that too. When a nigga on a mission, bro, can you tell that they're on a mission?
Who? Sacramento, absolutely.
Regular season, to me, just because you had top 1, 2, 3, bro, that shit don't be mean shit to me.
I agree. Can you do it in the playoffs?
Yeah, can you do it in the playoffs? This is a team that's never been to the playoffs. So they get first 2 rounds. Sacramento ain't been to the playoffs since when? Bibby?
Yeah, about 2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah, Bibby, Doug, Blade D-Box, Chris Webber, Taylor Stoyanovich, nigga. That's how long you've been since this team has been to the playoffs. All right, I got a great coach, got a great team. We're having a great season. We've never been to the playoffs, bro.
Every team got to start somewhere, sis. And if they have an opportunity to do something, I feel like this is the year.
The last time
who had the best record last year? Memphis.
Phoenix,
then Memphis, right?
I think so.
No,
is that right? Was that right, Mel?
Yeah,
Phoenix,
I think it was Phoenix by far. Memphis might have been number 2.
Yeah.
What happened to both of them?
No, it wasn't Memphis, because when Golden State played Memphis, Golden State still had the home record. Who was number 3?
Right. So I mean
the best record in the West.
It was Phoenix.
It was Phoenix.
So it was Phoenix, Golden State. Let me see you up, man.
Yeah, it was Phoenix by far. Phoenix. I think Phoenix had the best record in the league. Not even. They had the best record.
Yeah, that's for sure. That was the favorites last year.
It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be amazing, and I'm excited because we really don't know.
The Suns, the Grizzlies, the 3rd seed. They was the 3rd seed. What? Oh no, he said that. He said they was the 3rd seed. I don't know who the other guy is. Not Mel, but the other guy that's talking. He said that they was the 3rd seed. Okay, I apologize. You are so right. Look at the Grizzlies now. Same team. I'm even balling without my star.
But they were better without them last year as well.
Exactly. And look where they at. Look where they was at.
Yeah.
Ass on now.
I agree with that.
Come on, man.
But again, you said if you bring it up last year, the Warriors were not 7-29 on the road.
Yeah, they was playing good. They was playing good ball last year. They playing horrible ball this year.
Yeah, their wins this year are coming off of comeback from theft and miraculous play. That's how they're winning this year. They're not just blowing season, like they're barely getting by.
Not to mention, last year you had Andrew Wiggins. Last year you had Gary Payton II. Last year you had James Wiseman. Last year you had players playing at a high level, players that you don't even have playing now. They don't have Andrew Wiggins. GP don't have long. They traded James Wiseman to the Pistons.
playoffs, man. If they make playoffs, I guarantee you we can play. I guarantee.
This not an injury we talking about. This is probably 10 years worth of bond.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
We don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's the reason why. Everybody believes what they're saying on the internet.
I am jumping the gun on that.
Everybody, until he or his agent come out and say what it is, it all is a speculation. And that,
but you know, silence is an answer too, though.
He's dealing with his family. We can't take that. We can't take his silence.
Hey, can we say silence is an answer with LeBron not speaking up about them allegations?
Absolutely, silence is
what allegations?
When he wait, what you talking about, Mel? You talking about his wife?
Nah, the UFC fighter that said they get their PEDs from the same doctor.
Oh, so he's taking a hint. But that's where the millions of dollars is getting invested?
Yeah, where else you gonna do with $1 million every year?
Millions of dollars of steroids?
Oh man! Y'all didn't hold on, y'all didn't hear that?
Funny, man. No, I promise I didn't hear that one.
Let me ask you this, Mel. Right? Why are we just now hearing something about this?
We're not just now hearing something about it. No, they've been. It was an article on this like in 2008. They've always been bringing this up about LeBron.
This is the first I've ever heard of it.
It shouldn't be. I mean, listen, come on. He's a Nike employee. He's a top seller for Nike. They didn't even want the tape to get out when Jordan Crawford dunked on him at his camp. Like if Nike would go out and take everybody that was at the camp, take their cameras and make them delete the footage of him getting dunked on, what you think they gonna do if an accusation come out about him using steroids? That's why you're not hearing about it. But this stuff has been out since like 2008, and it just resurfaced because what's the UFC fighter name? What's his name? Shao Sonnen. He went on the podcast. What's the dude? Andrew Schultz podcast, and it was just having a conversation about John Jones, and he accused John Jones of taking steroids, and he was like, "What did he take?" Blah blah blah. And he was just having casual conversation. He was like, "There's a lot of guys that take." He was like, I use the EPOs. I use the same thing that LeBron used. And the dude was like, wait, LeBron, you know what? I'm gonna pull it up. Y'all go ahead and talk.
You know what's funny? And you see it a lot. Like they accuse Pacquiao of the same thing. Everybody's gonna have a certain remedy or something that they take or ingest that they feel like is. So if Kyrie went up there and told people like, yeah, this is how I eat. If your diet is not McDonald's, Burger King, and stuff like that, if you say you eat healthy and it helps me perform better, you getting tested. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like anybody got their own little remedies to trying to stay in the tip-top shape. And sometimes like it's like gray areas in the rules. Like it's legal, but some people gonna say it's still not fair. Michael Phelps smoking weed is still not fair. You get what I mean?
I understand how people when they're not.
It's just things like that.
Like, damn, my brother was having a blunt before the match. Yeah, he was in that.
And swimming faster.
He was in that pool, bro.
Y'all want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear it. I ain't never heard it.
All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. Here you go, right here. I can't believe y'all didn't hear this, man. Where y'all been at? Y'all just been living on the rock, man. Y'all working too hard.
Money has to be made and bills have to be paid, brother.
Like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player hitting the stick out of them. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter. There's only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing. So there's only one golfer that follows the big three. And the big three is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer. It's Tiger Woods. People say it all the time, it doesn't matter. John Daly, one of these. It matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you endurance so you can play all game long. It's the king of performance enhancers.
You would prefer that, especially in a fight sport, to anything else.
EPO is king. If the world understood what LeBron did.
What you think?
I mean, we letting a white man just say a whole bunch of stuff about black athletes.
Hey,
Cool.
look, don't go there. Don't go there.
No,
Is
I'm
it
going there.
is it true?
Like I said,
Is it true?
like I said,
Is it true?
like I
If
said,
it's true, hold on. If it's true, then why is Tiger having such a problem still playing golf?
No, that's not
If
what
it's,
it.
if it's true,
No,
why
we
is
can't. We
LeBron
can't.
missing more games than the last
Listen,
five
we that's not
I'm
not what steroids
I'm
is,
not
man.
saying
You can't
I'm not
debunk
saying
it.
that.
You can't debunk it by saying he lost.
Tiger Woods,
I'm not
Tiger
saying
Woods
that.
was in a car accident, and before
His
that,
league is different. He lost his coach. He lost the man that was helping getting all the champions, all the damn masters and shit. He lost that. That's a different
Tiger's
case.
different. I ain't gonna get
When you got a man standing by you that know how to tell you exactly how to hit that ball to make it go where it needs to go. He
Listen,
has
I'm
that
not.
on board.
I'm not taking the man.
Because I was still that man,
Hold
but
on.
he's still winning.
I'm not taking the word of a man who's not even the top of his sport. Talking about
No,
black athletes
that's
at
not
the
fair.
top
So
of their sport.
it's
No,
got to be John
that's not
Jones
fair.
to come out and tell and say LeBron is using. Like you can't disqualify people based on you can't disqualify people like that. That's just like me saying that's just like me saying you
Hold on.
witnessed something and I say nah, I can't take his word for it because he's not X, Y, and Z. That's not how it works. That's not how investigations works. You have to do an investigation.
Beside himself.
Do an
What white
investigation.
athletes did he mention beside?
No,
What white athletes?
Lance Armstrong.
No. Listen. Let me. What
Lance
white
Armstrong.
athletes did he mention beside himself?
Lance
He
Armstrong.
was the first one. He was the first one.
We all knew Lance Armstrong. That's not nothing new. He's talking about LeBron and Tiger Woods. Who else? Who else did he say?
You gotta go listen to the podcast.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You Stephen A in there right now, bro.
Nah, bro. Nah, you in your feelings. You in your feelings.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You in
gotta
your
look at-
feelings.
You gotta look.
You Stephen A in there right now.
Without
you gotta
an
look,
investigation. I'm not saying it's
You
true. All I'm saying is you can't dismiss it without an investigation. And I asked Dino. Hold on. Dino said silence tells a lot. And I was like, well, does LeBron's silence say a lot about him not addressing this allegation? That was my question.
Yes, sir. And I mean, circumstances vary, right? So with this, it's like in this specific area, silence does say a lot. You know what I mean? But other things where you keep your silence and you just be like, I'm not going to entertain that. It speaks value as well.
Yeah.
Just in a different light. But with the silence towards this, it's different because you come out your mouth and say you invest millions of dollars into your body so people can speculate how they want. That can be true. And you don't speak on it. You don't clarify. So somebody might take it is validated for taking that and running with it. Yes.
And he's 38, 39, running like he's 30.
What's the first argument they gonna say? No, he's this old doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we know why.
So Chris, how would you investigate if this was an allegation? Because if you are any entity like the NBA or any business, if there's an allegation on one of your employees, right now the allegation is in, how do you investigate it?
That's him. The fuck?
You ask LeBron, are you using it? He say no, then that's the investigation.
No, you test him.
You test him right.
Him.
So you test him right now. So do you think the NBA is going to test LeBron based on this allegation?
They should be testing every player anyway.
No, the NBA don't test anybody. It's an outside entity that gives a random urinalysis test and say, hey, this is just like in the military when we got a list. Hey, it's random. Supposedly, the players are picked randomly by an outside entity, right? Do you think the NBA is going to ask?
so-
You think the NBA is going to ask them to test LeBron right now? Because the policy is they do more testing in the summer for the NBA than they do during the season.
So you remember when?
Ja Morant got
Hold on. You remember when Ja went crazy and then tweeted, "Yeah, I got a fist test tomorrow."
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that's random? So they can't do that shit for LeBron?
It's supposed to be random. We used to say this. We used to say the same thing in the look. We used to say the same thing in the military. It's random, but every time we came back from off leave, our name was on the urinalysis list.
Same name, yeah, same name.
Right. So it's advertised as random.
So if it's really an issue, then piss test that man.
Okay, my question is, do you think the NBA would piss test him if they thought he was doing it? Do you think it's in the NBA's best interest for LeBron to be on PEDs, or you think they'll cover it up?
I think they would test him if he was really doing it.
Okay, so that's the investigation. So until they test him and make it known to the public, how can you dismiss this claim?
How can you accept it?
I'm not accepting it. I'm saying do an investigation.
You are. You taking it at face value.
I'm not taking it at face value. I'm saying do an investigation.
You letting this Lego block jaw white man tell you that LeBron James and Tiger Woods take it.
His color don't have anything to do with it. My point
it has a lot to do with it.
My point is I like the truth. What do you like the most? The truth?
You sound like JJ Redick right now. It's not a racial thing. You sound like JJ Redick right now.
It's not.
It's definitely a racial thing.
It's not. If a black man,
what incentive would he have to come out his mouth and say LeBron and Tiger Woods?
I think that's irrelevant.
PED?
I think that's irrelevant. The question the question is it true? Is irrelevant? Why his motive is irrelevant. The conversation was not even about LeBron. The conversation was about.
So why would he bring him up? Why would just out the blue would he bring him up?
Because he was speaking on what he know. The
dropping for no reason.
The conversation had nothing to do with LeBron. I'll play it again.
Nobody would have ever cared about that interview if he hadn't said a high.
Like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player. You're hitting a stick out of the. It doesn't matter. It's like no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think
there's only one. We have the same drug guy. If you will, I know exactly what he's doing. There's only one golfer that follows the big three, and the big three is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer. But it's Tiger Woods. People will say it all the time. It doesn't matter. John Daly won it. It matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. EPO increases.
Hey, man. I don't know what to tell you, Chris. I mean, he made an accusation. This ain't the first accusation that's been made. And there's several people who have claimed that LeBron James is on something. When he first got to Miami, there was a clinic where I can't.
All right, Stephen A. Smith.
Dude, I'm telling you the facts. Like, you can look this stuff up. You just because you never heard it.
You telling me the facts? Okay, so go give me a drug test that says you tested positive for PEDs.
I can't get you. I don't work for the clinic that does the drug test, or I don't work for the
You're
NBA.
not talking facts. You talking speculation.
No, the facts are that this article is out there. I'm telling you that that's the truth. That article exists. I'm not saying it's true that he's using.
I'm not denying that there's an article.
I'm telling you that this claim has been made on LeBron since 2008, and it had nothing to do with a white man that fights in the UFC. So you can't dismiss it because the guy is white. This claim was done years ago. Why did you dismiss it then if you would have heard it? Anything that comes from a white, any accusation that comes from a white man, you go dismiss? I like the truth more than I like LeBron.
I was in junior high.
Like huh?
In 2008, I was.
Yeah, you gotta give me the truth every time. I'm taking the truth every time.
Yeah, I mean, I like the truth. So if it's true, I want to know. I'm not acting like it's the truth. No, not listen. Not dismissing something is not pretending like it's the truth. If someone
he said he put $30 in his body, it must be steroids.
Who said that?
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Y'all, man, I expect it better from y'all.
No, you
especially you, man. Dennis, lately, I can understand it. No, I expect it different.
Hold on, now.
Oh, man. Well, that is too funny, man.
Listen, I'm not even a LeBron fan, but you can't.
Across the board, man. I let it know. Like it's a possibility that it could be true.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Chris.
It's a possibility that everybody in the league is on steroids.
Let me ask you this.
See the level of play everybody's at now.
Bro, that's a deflection. That's a deflection. That's a deflection. But let me ask you this. Did you know LeBron kept having growths on his jaw that they had to surgically remove? And that's one of the symptoms of some of these roids.
Please show me the proof.
Show you the proof? Dude, look it up, man. You research everything. Look it up right now and read the article, man. Show you.
I want you to do the legwork for the claims that you're making. You show me. You do the proof.
you want me to, okay, so you want me to do the legwork for what? The
growth on his jaw. Do the legwork.
Okay,
and send that to me.
I send it to you right now. I want you to read.
And it's got to be a credible source. Don't not no dude from his basement in Iowa. It's credible source.
Okay.
Send me the article. Send me do the legwork. Send me the proof.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
You show me that and it's legit. Then we can have a conversation.
Is ESPN.com good enough for you?
Send it.
All right, I'm sending it. Mo, do you want it too?
Absolutely. We're gonna read it together.
All right, bet. this dude over here doing all this whining because his king is getting called out. His black king. Yeah, his black king.
Whoa, hold on. What y'all not gonna do is do that. Because y'all know damn well Y'all know damn well I don't care for LeBron at all.
I just sent it to you. I just sent it to you, crybaby.
Yeah, I got. Hold on.
And I want you to read it. Don't study either, and say his name right.
Hold on. When it comes down to a prominent black figure, I take no slander.
Dude, you can't operate like that, bro.
What you mean?
You can't operate like that, man. I like the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Read it in a week. Since you think I'm just making stuff up.
ESPN.com. LeBron James is playing with a health issue through the end of the season in the playoffs, a situation that was taken care of Tuesday. The Cleveland Cavaliers star underwent surgery at the Cleveland Clinic to remove, how you say that?
Benign
growth in his mouth.
I done read the whole thing. Let me ask you this, right? This is the only article of mentioning of such thing, right?
No, I'm not saying that's the only article.
Hold on.
Several people reported
any other time?
That's public.
It's a credible one.
Hold on. Have you heard of any other time in any part of his career that he had another surgery like this?
Yes. The growth is back.
Send it.
The growth is back, man. Why you think he won't cut that beard off? Come on, hey Chris. You know you know I don't have a real life, and I'm addicted to sports, and I'm addicted to truth and information. I've done more.
What the white man says,
I've done this research way before. Like before I bring up a topic to y'all and talk to you about it, I've researched it. Right. That's why I can bring something up and you can say I had no clue about it. You had no clue about none of the instances where he's been accused of steroids. None.
How many times has he had a growth removed, man?
Bruh, I did the leg work the first time. You do it the second time.
I want you.
No, because you're not gonna keep deflecting.
Man, how many? No, I'm not deflecting. I'm about to answer it. How many times has he had a growth removed?
This one time, and the growth came back, but they didn't really report it being removed. It's just all of a sudden the beard showed up.
Do you think if he would been taking steroids since 2008, and this was a side effect, don't you think it'd be up a little bit more than 2 times?
We don't know. The beard, cut the beard off.
You said it was a growth on his back, right?
No, it was on his chin. I said on his chin, on his jaw.
No, you said that he had a growth on his back the second time.
On the back of his jaw. He said the back of his jaw.
No, he said on his back, and you can play it back and hear yourself say that.
If I said it, I said it in the air. If I said it, I said it in the air.
So he had two. He had 2 on the jawline there.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? He had 2 growths on the jawline.
Yeah.
Out of 20 years and accusations since 2008 of being on steroids. So what? 2008, 15 years? 15 years of 15 years of accusations? And only 2 instances where it might be a side effect of steroids?
The side effect don't have to show up. The side effect don't have to show up every single time. Dude,
that's what you made it sound like.
Look, you
made
can,
it sound like it showed up.
Bro, you can take a side. You can take a side effect, and you can take a medicine, and the side effect might be diarrhea. That don't mean every time you take it, you gonna have diarrhea.
You said that he got two instances of a growth. That automatically means he's doing steroids.
I did not say you trying to deflect and throw out these word salads. Yeah, nah, I don't know what I was implying. What I said is what I said is
that because he had a growth, a benign growth twice. That means that he's doing steroids because that's the side effect of steroids.
That's not what I said. I'm doing it. I'm gathering data, right?
Okay,
so hold on. Slow down before you get muted. Because right now you're in your feelings, but we gotta let each other talk, right? So here's what we got. We got LeBron James being accused when he was in Miami and in Cleveland of taking performance enhancing drugs, right? In those instances, from our observation, we got an accusation, and from our observation, we can see his body doing certain things. One of them being a growth on his jaw, one of them being extreme weight gains and extreme weight losses. Like he's coming in at that's why he always never wanted nobody to really know his weight. This dude was playing at 270, 280 at some point, and he go from 270 to 240 and 230. Like it's just crazy. He's 270, right? How did you get there, right? So we see his body doing things. The same thing they were saying about Barry Bonds. Like, man, how did his head grow? Which that's another thing that steroids would do. Yeah, I mean, you would get gross, your head would get big just all of a sudden, right? So we seen stuff like that. We seen stuff his body is doing. Now, the accusations kind of died down. Nobody really addressed them. Can't prove it anyway. He ain't never felt no drug test, so it went away. Here now, you fast forward to 2023. There's another accusation from a UFC fighter, and he named the actual drug EPO. Right. The article that came out when he was in Miami was Rich Paul would go to the clinic and pick it up, and someone that worked at the clinic say they seen Rich Paul picking the drugs up, so they knew it was for LeBron. Right. So you put all that together, and you come up with your own thought process. You don't have to believe nobody, but I can just at least state what I know that has been documented and what I have observed. Right. So I'm not dismissing anything. I'm not accepting anything. All I'm saying is this is what I observed. This is what's documented. You can do whatever you want with it. You can say, I'm not going to believe none of it. I'm dismissing it because he's black. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not doing it. So don't have me try to do exactly how you want to do it. That's not what's going to happen. Now you can go, sir.
I mean, you need to find out. You want to like research, right? You say you got time, all the time in the world, right? So when you can research benign growth is a side effect of steroids, what else is a benign growth a side effect of?
It could be anything. It could be a lot of stuff.
Okay, so why are you so hell bent on steroids?
Bro, that's not how that's not how you do. That's not how you do that. That's not that you just can't say, look, there's all types of possibilities here, so let's dismiss it. You can't do that. You're trying to dismiss it by saying, in order for me to even entertain it, I have to see something that says the only thing that this can come from is steroids. You get what I'm saying? Like right now, your girl's gonna come home, right, with a condom stuck in her coochie and tell you she didn't cheat, and then she's gonna tell you there's 10 other ways that this could have happened without me actually cheating. That don't mean you gotta believe it. No. Look
at you.
I'm gonna believe somebody gave you some meat. I'm not. No. I'm not about to believe that you slipped and fell on a condom. But is that possible? Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible she slipped and fell on it. But no, come on, man. I mean, be a grown up, man. You don't go around here and try to deflect and bring up straw man arguments and say, well, this thing could be something else, or it could be that, and it could be that. Nah, dude, take all the data that you got and use common sense.
So common sense is LeBron is taking steroids.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
The common sense, you said it already. I don't know why it's so hard to just accept it. The possibility is still there. The accusations are there.
I mean, and it's a lot.
Do we know? No.
It's a possibility.
Listen now, I want you to you gotta really think. ESPN put this article out. You don't think LeBron knows something when ESPN mentions his name? For you not to come out and say, for you to come out and not say nothing at all, again, that can speak volumes in situations where, you know what I'm saying, it's something where you just know it's not true and you can laugh that off and not entertain it. But the fact that you've been accused and you even said out your mouth, I invest millions of dollars into my body, I can ask that question. What's the investment? Is it EPO?
Or it's his home gym, it's his personal chef, it's his dietary requirement.
Okay, right. I agree with you. I agree with you. The same way Pacquiao was eating home cooked meals, but because your shit is grown different over there, I can test you for that's the same thing, bro.
Okay, so then test him. That's the easiest way to get to the bottom of this. Test him.
Well, we can't test them. I mean, if the NBA don't want this to come out, like the NBA don't want to happen with their league, what happened to baseball when who was that they accused everywhere? Was it Big Mac? Was it no? It was Jose Canseco had told on everybody, and the same thing that you're doing now was what the fans was doing then, saying you can't believe Jose Canseco because he was already banned for using steroids. So they was like, you can't believe a steroid user. He's a felon. Don't believe him. He's a felon. Same thing they did with the referee that blew the whistle. David Stern said, you can't believe him. He's a felon. He's a liar who's trying to just take people down with him. You can't dismiss any claim or dismiss people just because it comes from a person that you don't want to hear it from. Jose Canseco, Phil Donahue, and this UFC fighter. You can't dismiss them because they take steroids. So Jose Canseco came out to actually be telling the truth. He told on Big Mac, he told on Bonds, he told on Sosa, told on A-Rod, all these dudes was using. And the MLB took a hit from it. The NBA don't want to take that hit. This is their top star. Nike don't want them to take that hit. That's their top star other than Michael Jordan. You know what would happen if LeBron James was found to be using roids? Like, this is $2 billion corporations, including himself is $1 billion corporation. So you got Nike, you got LeBron's brand, and you got the NBA.
This is
all at stake.
10,000.
Exactly. They're not going to allow that to happen, man. So you talking about this test you're talking about is not going to happen. As a matter of fact, it's already been reported that he failed the test before. They covered it up. It was a list of people who came back dirty during the summer. They saw LeBron James' name on it, and they was like, nah, we ain't gonna worry about this.
Y'all have fun with those white man regulations, man.
Bro, this is crazy, man. I don't know what to tell you, bro. This is crazy.
I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I expect better from y'all, honestly.
I expect it better from you, man. You dismissing stuff without even doing any research.
On everything.
And y'all just taking shit at face value, like what in the?
Nah, we just putting two and two together, man. I remember one year in Cleveland where he was sluggish and slow and could barely jump, and then he took 2 weeks off and went to Miami for vacation, where he was usually getting his drugs from when he was playing in Miami. And then he came back, and that's when he had that dunk on not Timothy Miles. He had that Thiago Splitter, where he almost touched the top of the backboard, just off of 2 weeks of rest, quote unquote rest. but in Miami.
I got it. I believe y'all. I believe y'all.
Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. I'm just saying, think, man. That's it.
Y'all done persuaded me to believe that.
No. That's not the point here. We want you to go look at it. Like, go look it up.
Don't say I'm not gonna look into it because it's LeBron and because this dude is a white guy.
Go look at it. Know for yourself. Don't know because he's telling you. Know for yourself. Go look it up.
And like I said, I'm not saying I believe it, and I'm not even saying I care.
Yeah, you are. You believe it.
I mean, you can say that, but I'm not saying I believe it.
You believe it.
I'm fine with you saying that. You can put that on me, but I'm saying I'm not saying I believe it, or I'm not saying I care. You can say whatever.
I think you care, look.
not as much as you care. Not as much as you care.
I don't care either. I just don't like black. I don't like black prominent athletes getting these names.
Bro, it's not about that.
From a white man.
They're human.
It's not
People
about that.
I don't get it. He's human, bro. It ain't like he's perfect. The man got flaws. Everybody has them. Just because he got money don't mean nothing, brother. Like, he has flaws.
I agree.
I'm great at basketball, and I just so happen to use that to learn how to be great in other avenues. He's human.
Okay.
Now, do you understand where we coming from? Like this.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that you never heard this is kind of funny, man. This was like big news right here.
You told me a couple months ago. But 2008, like I told you, I was in junior high school. And I was probably grounded.
I mean, it might not have been 2008. What year was he in Miami?
2011.
2009.
No, 2011.
The article came out in 2009.
The article came out in 2009?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So whatever that was, but yeah, it was. He was heavily scrutinized in Miami because of that clinic that was down there, where allegedly Rich Paul was going in and getting the drugs. They never seen LeBron, but they seen Rich Paul. That's what the article said. You can go look that up. You can look. You can look that article up, and then you can look up and look at all the pictures of that growth behind his jawline. And you can see it when he was in Cleveland, right? You can see the growth before he had his beard. You can see the growth. Then, of course, you just read the article that said it got removed and it was benign. They tested it for cancer. It was benign. And when you see the interview he was doing with the Lakers, either this year or last year in the Lakers facility in the Lakers jersey, you can see the growth is back. Could be anything.
I was really looking into it now, man.
It could be anything though. That growth could be
It could be anything.
It could be an ingrown hair. Yeah. I mean, it could be an ingrown hair. It could be an alien from the movie Alien. It could be Avatar. Who knows what it is? Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah. It could be anything. So
it could be anything. Ain't that right, Dennis? It could be anything.
Hey, Dino, he in his feelings, man. Hey, but look, man, before I got to end it, man.
I don't know what to say, man.
Hey, he gonna cry in the car.
Absolutely not.
Hey,
I'm out on the floor right now.
I want you to listen to this back on that part and hear yourself. Just hear yourself, man. That was unreal. I had to calm you down. Man.
I ain't gonna lie. You sounded like what they call them, the Bron fans. What's the
Bronite, a bronsexual. You sounded like Samson.
A Bronite. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you sounded like Samson after Delilah cut his locks off.
Oh, you gonna have to see me, Dennis.
That's what you sound like.
You gonna have to see me, Dennis. You know better than that.
Oh man!
And taking exception to the fact.
For a minute, I forgot your favorite player was KD. The way you was.
Yo, man, this just too
Black
funny.
men should be. Y'all as black men should be more. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't identify as black, my brother. Peace out.
Okay, then. You a white man too, then. It makes a whole lot of fucking sense.
Hey, look,
Nah.
I'm pretty sure I got some white in me, so I'm not. I mean, I ain't even tripping. Like I don't know what you expect from me, man. I'm a truth teller. So I mean, you heard what I said about Ja Morant. You think I'm gonna be on his side just because he's black? No. I think what Ja Morant did was trash, and anybody that was supporting is trash. I hate gang culture. Right, but the way you're acting, if we didn't see the actual footage of what he did, and somebody, all right, put it this way, he got accused of pointing an infrared dot, him and his crew at the Indiana Pacers team after the game, after they almost got in a fight with him. Right, we didn't see footage of that. Right, all it was an accusation. Based on what you just showed me today, just on the fact that Ja Morant is black. And if the accusers had been a white man, you would dismiss that if it's having any validity to it, because you don't like a white man accusing a black man of anything. And I don't operate.
No, we saw footage of Ja Morant.
Before we saw the footage, the accusation from Indiana was out there, and the NBA did an investigation. Right, but what you're saying is don't do an investigation, dismiss it right away because it's a black man getting accused by a white man. Right.
Investigation did y'all do?
I didn't. We can't do an investigation.
It was
Chris,
live.
but I'm not dismissing it. Common sense tells me that's in his character, and I can't dismiss it. I can't dismiss it, Chris. That's what I'm saying. I can't dismiss it.
That LeBron took steroids, so you just got to go run and believe that.
No, I what I'm saying is I'm not dismissing it.
My brother, all we are saying, yeah, I can't talk. How many times I let y'all talk? I can't talk.
I was still saying something. The way that you went about it, man, it wasn't impartial, right? You didn't report the news as impartial, non-biased. You reported it as if you believe LeBron took steroids.
Dano, what you think?
Is that how you took it, or is that how he reported it?
That's how he reported it.
Dano.
That's how you took it, because it's me and him on the same page when he said it. Like hold on, I'll let you talk. Now it's my turn. Relax. Get out your feelings and actually have the conversation. Let the conversation flow. Let the conversation flow.
I'm letting it flow now, black man.
Anyway, when he said, me and him were on the same page. You are the only one, even Terry was on the same page. You were the only one that was opposite and opposing to what we were saying. We were all in agreement. That says value, and that speaks volume in itself. You took it a certain way, and now you're trying to twist how you took it and kind of like turn it into some BS, because that's what it is. Like, I'm with it.
Okay, honestly, bro, he asked all of us. He said, there's an interview about LeBron. Do y'all want to hear it? Everybody said yes. As soon as the interview was heard, you immediately dismissed the interview instead of just having the conversation. Everybody else is trying to have the conversation like, could this have really happened? Or is this just bullshit? You're the only one that came like, oh, this bullshit, y'all gonna take a white man for it because he's talking down on a black man. That's not what no one's doing. You're just not, I don't know what you got going on, to be honest, but you're not understanding what no one else is trying to say. Like he just said, all three of us are in agreement with what's going on. You're the only person trying to make it into something that is not. Listen to what's being said, bro. Not nobody is saying, oh shit, LeBron's a steroid user.
Bars.
Okay.
Nobody
Okay.
is saying LeBron is a steroid user. We're saying,
Okay.
is it
Go
possible?
sit down.
Sure, maybe it's possible. Wouldn't put it past him. That would be if you search this on YouTube or on Google and you look at people's thoughts on it, you see that almost everybody is in agreement. Wow, they've been said something about this in like 2010. This ain't the first time that it's being said.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear something more than once, it might have a good merit. Other than that, shit, like Dino said, this man said he invests millions of dollars alone into his body. Shit, ain't too much millions of dollars alone. Millions of dollars. Ain't no damn training no millions of dollars. You can train yourself. You see how big this man is? Did you not see how his size changed? There is most definitely some merit to it. You're just opposed that a white man came and said, "Oh yeah, LeBron's a steroid user." Oh, bro, this ain't the first time it's been said, bro.
You ever seen a LeBron poster in GNC?
Yeah.
Never. But you invested $1 million. What you putting in your body?
And look, and you believe when a white man said he invested $1 million and we don't know that to be true. You just believe it, right? You believe
LeBron said it, so you can actually go look that interview up. Honestly, just want to look up shit. Go look that up.
He said he invested $1 million, so you believe it because he said it. He also said he the GOAT, so we know he a liar.
So what the? All right. I'll take a back seat. What did you expect from us?
If it's possible, hold on one second. I'm so sorry. If it's possible, and I had to give you a time frame of when it started, I'll say around about 2014. Honestly, I'll say around about 2014. That's when he started. That's when they lost to the Spurs, right? Your boy was on a whole different level. I know you love Miami and I'm so sorry. Your boy was on a whole different level.
Oh, I don't care. I still
when he came from
Wait. What?
So when he came from Cleveland, he was having monster games. Like monster. Like he was different. Out of nowhere, he was different. And it was like a power difference, if that makes sense. And it's the final.
Hey, hold on, Chris hung up.
You've been balling this monster. You had this monster season, right? That Miami season.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you let an old, battered up Spurs team beat your ass.
Cramped up.
You cramped up. Do you know what to stop or put cramp alone? I understand, but the type of cramp that he was having was depletion in potassium. Do you know what caused that? Look it up. Type in steroid.
Type
it in.
His phone.
Read.
His phone hung up. His phone hung up.
Stop playing.
Yeah, man.
I don't have his phone.
Oh, that's him. Hold on.
Hello?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, he back. I don't. You look. It's still saying that.
I didn't touch the phone. I got my headphones in.
Yeah, I
thought maybe you might have died or something.
Nah. Now go ahead though. You ain't hear what she said.
What did she say? What?
She said it's possible. She said, it probably happened around 2014 when he started using. I'm not saying he using or nothing like that at all. I'm just saying.
I just sent you a picture, bro. Did you see it?
Nah, it ain't come through yet.
It's on message. I sent you on Messenger.
Yeah, it ain't come through. What you sent me? Tell me what you sent me.
The report saying that LeBron spends 1.5 and what he spends it on for his body.
And what he spending on? Tell me.
Let me just
Cause I know people who body in better shape and they just go to Gold's Gym. So I'm trying to figure out what this 1.5 doing.
Cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, Normatec leg boots, etc. He also has personal chefs, trainers, has a strict routine and diet.
Right, and then if you have all that means you're not gonna take nothing.
Why would I? That way.
Well, I mean,
I just have a question. I have a question. Have you ever had a membership at a gym?
Yep, sure do.
Okay, so when you signed up, did they offer you, because I know they do this for a fact, did they offer you protein enhancement and stuff like that and go down the list on why they offered this to you and what it could do for your body?
I can actually tell you that Planet Fitness did not.
Oh.
I'm gonna keep it an even bigger buck with you, right? Most of that sounds like how much the technology itself costs. How much does a hyperbolic time chamber cost?
Wait, Mel.
That's really what it is.
Wait, Mel, you play ball, right?
Yeah, I used to.
All right, when you used to go to weight trainings, your trainers and them, they didn't recommend that you take a protein or anything like that?
Yeah, protein. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had a trainer, but he also recommended I spend the night at his house too. So this dude was just on a whole nother level. If you was ever in Virginia and you went to N24, it's this dude named Al that working there. If you ain't got no car and you're a new sailor, he always offer to help you work out. But it always come with some strings.
Oh, nah. Nah, what I'm saying is, like, when I was in high school as well, like, working out and being an athlete, like, you had to put protein in your body. Like, the trainers recommended you put protein. You get a certain, you get multivitamins, you get things that you can't get strictly from diet.
Yeah.
To allow you to perform better. Enhancement.
Yeah.
It's not steroids, but it's enhancement.
Right.
Same thing with LeBron.
So you think it's if you was to lean toward whether you think it's true or not?
What is the et cetera? What is the et cetera?
You said it's hyperbaric chamber, normal tent, lead boots, etc.
What is the et cetera?
He don't even tell you everything. Et cetera is something, bro.
I've never seen LeBron.
Hey man, hey y'all are okay. Y'all got it. Yep.
So look,
Whatever,
I will say this though.
No.
I will say this. Kobe Bryant, he started going to getting this procedure done for his knees by some German doctor where they was doing some like weird, almost witchcraft type stuff for his knees. Well, it was like I don't know. It was
enhancement.
No, it wasn't no enhancement. It was like just some crazy stuff he would do over the summer where they was like sucking the bad blood out his knees and recycling blood. It was a weird thing they was doing for his knees, and that's documented as well, right? And
like what Mr. Miyagi did in Karate Kid.
Crazy stuff like that, yeah. And I want to say Wade, he recommended it to Wade as well. So players do some weird stuff to try to keep themselves in their prime as long as possible, man. So we don't know what LeBron doing. I know he works out real good. I know he eat. Well, they say he eat like crap. They say LeBron eats trash all day long. That's what his teammates say. They say he don't eat. He don't eat like a person that look like he look.
So I do know that when they went on that Olympic run, all of them was eating cheeseburgers before they handed Spain like 40.
Say it again.
I said, I know, like, they was talking about when they was on the Olympic team, like LeBron and Wade, Boston, all them, and they ate like shit before a game, and they went and blew them out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
eating burgers and shit.
Yeah, but
the game.
But a person who don't eat like that is Kobe, Ray Allen, guys like that. They've been on the health kick way before anybody. Now Carmelo eats real good because Carmelo was getting fat and out of shape. He had to change his diet, right? But Kobe was already doing it. LeBron has never really changed his diet. So that junk that's on that list you sent me about his chefs, that's cap. This man got a whole IG story dedicated to Taco Tuesdays. This dude that dude eats like us. So let's be real. You can.
I don't know, man. I say he will have a chef. Like you probably, he eats like us, but you know what I'm saying, on nights or during the season where like he got them home stretches.
That ain't what's documented.
And the wife, you probably don't feel like cooking. He'll probably have like a chef.
Savannah always feel like cooking. She's a lady. That ain't what's documented.
Savannah does not.
That's not what's documented. They say that LeBron is the worst eater on the team. That's coming from his teammates.
Well, this has been a very excellent conversation, but I got to get ready for work. I'm already running late.
Yeah, you got cooked, so I don't even know how you go work tonight. You're a crisp. You cornbread burnt around the edges. You got cooked tonight over there in your feelings. Go on to work.
Just on some real Uncle Ruckus shit today.
Hey Jay said,
Nah,
look, before you go, Chris.
You just ain't tapped in. You ain't tapped in. Don't listen. Hold, wait. I'm not finished. I will let you talk when I am finished. But I will get this across because it's disrespectful. You cannot project what you feel and what you expect onto other people. We have different opinions. I have different experiences than you. I do homework on where I come from and who I am. I did my research. When I try to tell you to do your research, you didn't do it. So don't tell me I'm on some Uncle Ruckus shit when you don't even know who the fuck you are, or you don't know who I am. You can't do that, bro. I'm talking as me right now. You cannot do that to me.
Hey, Jay said he definitely taking some supplements and some blood work, some skill set and stuff, and he said DJ Khaled got a chef too.
Like, come on. You said you don't identify as black, right?
Here we go, man. Come on, Chris.
Oh my goodness. We can talk about that too. Because I'm knowledgeable in that too. So yeah, let's talk about it. If you're so knowledgeable in it, let's talk about it. I do not identify. Matter of fact, you tell me what since you identify as black, what is that? What is black?
I asked you the question first. I said, what are you?
No, and I answered your question. I said no. So now it's my question to you. What is black? Since you identify as it?
How is no an answer to what are you?
No, you asked me. You asked me. You don't identify as black, and I said no, I do not.
And I asked you, what are you? I asked you that.
My question, but wait, I answered your question. We're gonna go question for question. What is black? What is black? Since you identify as it, make it easy for everybody. Tell me what black is.
Well, hold on. At least answer that, Chris. At least answer that question. I mean, what do you consider black?
Answer my question, bro. What is black? What do you identify? What is black? Since you identify it as it.
I am black.
Yeah, what is it?
What is black, bro? What is it?
I identify as black. My skin is dark.
Exactly my point. You don't know what you identify as. You don't know, and that is okay. That is okay. Listen. I am Aborigine to the land, brother. I have Indian in my blood, brother. I am Blackfoot Cherokee, one of the first natives to migrate south. I know what I am, bro. What are you? What are you? I don't care about that word. What is that word? You don't even know what that word is either. You're spitting around a whole bunch of words that you don't even know what they mean. I answered every question you asked me. What is black? What is black?
Hold on. I gave you your fucking time, right? So shut the fuck up.
What is black?
Because you Ancestry.com, you think you better than everybody
else? I mean, Ancestry nothing. I talked to my grandmothers and aunties. I went to my roots. I'm fortunate enough to have great aunties, great uncles, great grandmothers. I'm fortunate to do that. And I'm fortunate to that end.
Congratulations.
So, I'm asking you what is black?
Mine are fucking dead. You fucking happy? I can't go do the fucking research. Shut the fuck up, Dennis. Shut the fuck up.
All right, look, man.
Yo, you don't have to.
All right, calm down.
Congratulations that you got a chance. No, congratulations that you got a chance. You're gonna find out what the.
at me, and I'm putting you back in your place, and you can't get mad at me for doing so. I answered every single question. That you asked me. When I ask you a question, you get mad and you start saying other stuff.
You want to continue the conversation?
Look.
You want to continue the conversation? We can take it off the sports platform. Call me on my personal, so I can cuss you out on there. I'm going to cuss you out on this fucking sports platform. Call me on my personal.
All right, fellas, man. We're at 3 hours, man. I'm gonna end it, man. Hey, y'all do need to call though, cause y'all tripping, man. It ain't have to go that far. The whole thing is, look, what I want y'all to get out of it, especially you, Chris, man, is just because we're not dismissing something right away, doesn't mean that, you know, we lose our black card. Like you get what I'm saying, and you know that's the main thing. Like, you know, you really charge us and try to put a battery in our back and say, look, man, just because you even entertaining this means that that you somehow is against your own brother because there's a white man that's making the accusation. I mean, that's kind of unfair. But damn, man, that's all I wanted to say about it, man. But man, I'll catch y'all on the next episode, man. Peace.